Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. What is happening, gatekeepers? It's Monday night. Monday Madness. Look at the purple lights. That looks pretty good, right? I don't know. It's kind of dark in here. My computer's, listen, I don't want to hear about Mercury retrograde or whatever it is, or the frequencies turned up to 11, or whatever's going on. Everything mechanical went nuts on me today. Slipped in the kitchen, smacked my knee on the cabinet. Just little things like that. Did some other things, something else. Just, it's one of those days. Nothing bad, just annoying. Are you having one of those days? Do you have an annoying day? We're just out of sync. Like, you weren't 2 steps behind. It's like the whole world is just doing the cha-cha around you, and you're just trying to walk. Does that make sense? So anyway, I sat down here and I clicked go live, and I threw up some videos. I worked on some videos for you this morning. Are you laying down? Welcome in, Dr. Chrissy. Welcome in, all you gatekeepers. Welcome in, everybody's new. Everybody's over from Steve's channel or from whencever you came. Welcome in. Questions. We have wonderful mods here. If you're trying to get something through and I don't see it because I'm a, dingbat or whatever, or just, like I said, the world is like doing, some of them are doing the tango, some are doing the cha-cha, some are doing that parkour shit. It's like the whole world is just gone mad, and you're just trying to grade man through it, and little things. Hey, Laura. And then little things remind you the light gets back in. You just stop a minute. You go and you pick up your mail, and some lovely person that comes in and out like a warm wind, always thinking about her, always wishing her well. The lovely Laura sent me, for those of you who don't know, I lost my best friend in October, Mr. Dickens, a 17-year-old ginger cat, best buddy, best bro I ever had, and I've had some bros. That's saying something, believe me. He was a top hat wearing cat, he's top cat. He really was. Everybody remember that commercial, that cartoon? But anyway, she had just found out, got caught back up, and decided she was going to do something really nice. And this is what I'm talking about. Reach out. You don't realize what kind of day you're reaching into for somebody else when you do something like this. Like last night, we were talking about the boxes, remember? We're talking about maybe going to the dollar store, getting, little things like a little care package box. You need a lot for $10. Throw some stuff in there. Put it up for somebody who might need it later. Maybe do one of those every couple weeks, whatever. You get a stash. So anyway, just for random acts of kindness. And I go to the post office after, all this. Listen, I worked on so many videos for you guys for the theaters, haunted theaters, ghost stories, and all that stuff. And I had some from last week, and I was going through and I was editing them. My computer decides to do something funky. it decides it wants to update. Some kind of mamby jahamby went on without my consent. And who's messaging me? What's going on? See, this is what I'm talking about, folks. I mean, there's gremlins in the machine, batten down the hatches, do whatever. Don't feed them after midnight. World's crazy. What's going on? I'm afraid to click the box. I'm not going to do it. Okay, so lost everything. Had to start all over. Decided to put that video that you just watched in the intro together. I think it's lovely. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, I could sit there and watch that. I see something different every time, and I made it, you know. It's just all the architecture in these theaters, the dances, the whole thing. And again, that's putting light. That's all people were drawn there to get recharged like us, you know. But I go to the post office and look, not the post office, post box, the mailbox. God's gonna have to forgive me tonight. I'm already starting to drink the tea. Isn't that adorable? Reminds me of one of our intros, right? And just saying how much she loves me and how much, you know, she knows I love her. And just thinking of them, thinking of us, and so kind. Thank you, Laura, so much. Look at this. You guys want to see something beautiful? Man, especially, you know, when you're having a bad day. Well, not even a bad day, just like I said. Look at this. Can you guys see how gorgeous that is? Can you see that? Look, and it's got Mr. Dickens's name. Let me turn it this way, angle it just right, maybe. Gosh, you guys have no idea how hard it is, but it says Mr. Dickens. Now you can kind of see it, and it's got a small print. Absolutely gorgeous. Got the chakras. So, again, what we were saying last night, it is a prism. It's a beautiful crystal, Swarovski crystal heart to throw out the light and reflect it back. So there you go. I'm reflecting it back to you guys. Isn't that awesome? Get you some of that. Because that's what I'm talking about. You know? Thank you, darling. I love you, baby. And thank you for Mr. Dickens too. He's an awesome dude, and has found many a way to let us know in this house that, you know, he's sent messages and stuff like that. I know, isn't it gorgeous? So the thing is that's what I'm talking about. I had no idea. She had no idea. I think she sent it. I think, honey, didn't you say you sent it Saturday or something like that? And it, you know that it would come today. And yes, she is a beautiful human, Lindsay, and so are you. So are many. So is everybody in here. And that's the thing. But if you do something like that, you send it out, you give it to the universe, and the universe will sort it. Think about that. You know, it's like how many times have we said, and I'm, you know, again, I'm nobody to give advice. I'm just yammering on as I usually do. And Steve will be here soon. I think I sent him an invite. Maybe that's why I'm getting all these messages. Maybe he's stuck in is he stuck in purgatory? Hold on. Is he still live? Anybody know? Hang on one second. Let me try to sort this. I sent it to him. Here, I'll send it again just in case. I think he might still be on his channel. Is he still on his channel? Is midnight here? Anybody know? Thank you again, Laura. I mean, honestly. And you stick it out there, and, you know, you do something like that, and you trust the universe to get it where it needs to go, when it needs to, you know, get there. It's incredible. It's incredible. And if he just imagine if everybody in here did something little like that. I don't know. It sounds so silly, but when the world is on fire, literally in a lot of places, and my love and my blessings and my hope and prayers go out to everybody out there, because I had it on both sides. I was in the middle of two big ones the other day, and it's raining today, so I'm more, you know, for the poor families and the animals and the wildlife. And, you know, I've been dragging, you know, that'll take you down quicker than anything, I think, you know, thinking about them being scared, not knowing what's going on, and thinking there could be some real jerks doing some nefarious things makes you even madder. Steve is among the missing. Wait a minute. Steve is missing, Glenn? Wait a minute. Is this an alert, or are you just doing like a little a quip? A quib. What, how do you say that, guys? A quip? A quib? Not a quill. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sending it to him again. Pardon me. I don't mean to be rude. And see if he's going to pop in here. But anyway, whoop. God, we don't need that. We don't need me twice. Holy shit. Once is enough. Okay. There we go. So I love y'all. Welcome in, Glenn. Renice, how you doing? I'd like to say hey to Rocky and Carrie and Bobby and Tom and everybody that's always, and Ted, you're always in the comments too. Thank you so much. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithms. That's how you can help. Put that out in the universe. Maybe tell, don't question yourself about, should I tell this story or should I make this comment or even if it's, critical, it's like Cisco, shut up, but I don't know how I would do that any different because how do you have a podcast and not talk, Doesn't make sense. I guess the big thing is to try to stay on track. But random acts of kindness. Why? Can you imagine if you went to a parking lot, you had little, I know this sounds silly, but, maybe stick something, in somebody's windshield wiper or something that says you're awesome or, this too shall pass. That'd probably screw somebody up. They'd probably call 911. I'm getting threats. This is a threat. And everybody takes everything wrong nowadays. I'm at work and one of the funny stories my boss told me, here he is. He's not among the missing. Here he is. We found him. He's in the lost and found. I got to go get him. But real quick, I'll say this. So, I'm a floral designer and my boss, she's telling me a story. She's been in business 30 years. She's got stories. We all do. And anyway, she's wrapping up. This is a busy day this one time. And, you either use a knife or use sharp scissors or use both or whatever. Everybody does something different. I snap a lot of mine. But anyway, when you're cutting flowers, she uses a knife. And she's doing what's called a presentation wrap. So ladies or whoever gets, let's not get into that. Every florist does a little different, but usually cellophane and tissue, and it's more of a presentation where, like, if you were on a, opening night at a Broadway play or graduating or something along those lines, and it's usually a real nice bouquet with a nice bow and lots of greenery, and if it's done right, it's absolutely elegant and gorgeous, But anyway, I digress. So a husband orders one of these for his wife. Hey, first floor, welcome in. Orders one for his wife, and once it delivered, and it's like I said, it was a hectic day, and my boss gets a phone call from this woman who's like through the roof anxiety. She's in a panic because apparently when my boss was wrapping the flowers, she left her knife in there, and the lady thought her husband was threatening her. Get in here, you old rattlesnake. We're starting early. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I just real quick, I want to say hi to Nicole. I love you,
Hey,
Midnight
Nick. Hey,
Society.
Nicole.
You're everything to me, sweetheart.
Hey, Nick.
Thank you for being here, babe. Hey, everybody else, how's
Hey,
it going?
everybody.
Yeah, I heard that.
Did
So
you
there's
see
lady
my heart?
gets
You
some
need to get him one of
flowers,
these.
and there's a knife
What's
still
he?
in the bouquet.
What's he trying to
What's
say?
he trying to say here?
Everybody's on the floor losing their shit. I mean, I kid you not. I mean, we're laughing and trying. We had one the other day, and one of the girls, she's a TikToker, tickety top, Insta play, whatever. She's so she's always with the videos. She comes up, she shows me the video. And the whole time my friend's talking to this one lady on the phone, I'm making these faces going, oh my God, and stuff like this. She puts
Wait,
it
what?
on.
I couldn't see. What kind of faces are you
I
making?
was like, you could read my lips. I was going, what? Like this in the background because the lady and the girl on the phone is trying to keep her composure. She's just real She's methodical. You got to be. We're both bartenders. We've both been bartenders. So we've got that kind of like, yes, ma'am, and eventually, yes, ma'am starts sounding like fuck you, you know, and but still, yes, ma'am, or whatever. How do you spell that again? And this lady's yelling at her, it's the same name as the other. And she's like, B-A-U-T. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, and I'm making things like this. And they put it on. I said, man, don't tell them what
Let's put
shot.
that anywhere.
What
Hang
was
on,
that
hang
sound?
on a second.
Phone. That sounded like a cell phone
Yeah,
drop, didn't it?
it was.
Name that sound. I can name that sound in one drop. So look what Laura sent me. Isn't that beautiful for Mr. Dickens? Get you some of that energy off of there. That's a wonderful gift, and that's probably a
I'm on the
tenfold.
top of the world right now.
Yeah, well, get you some.
I'll
Reflect it back
I'll
into
put
the
some
chat.
in it. I'll
There
put
you
some in
go.
it there.
Because that's a crystal, and
There you
crystals
go.
magnify the energy. Remember that, everybody.
Yep.
They also need to be, even if it's, this is probably an Austrian, like a Swarovski or whatever. It's a crystal. It reflects back and absorbs. So make sure whatever you're multiplying and magnifying is good, not
I have
careful.
one here on my desk.
Welcome in, everybody. Hey,
Crystal,
Kathleen.
but I sent it to Nicole. You got that pendulum, Nicole, that I used to have here. So it's got all kinds of energy in it. It's sat
There
right
you
here
go.
under my monitor.
When you gift it, when
Yeah,
it's gifted in love like that, in kindness, and like I said, you could do whatever. You could cut flowers out of your garden, put them in a mason jar, and go knock on your neighbor's door. Probably get shot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but you can try. Maybe go with do they still have those metal garbage can lids? They don't have garbage cans that are metal anymore like we had when we
I
were
don't
kids.
know if they
They
do
made
or
the
not.
best shields.
They did. Used to play fight with those. You get
Yep.
a stick for a sword and a
Yep.
metal garbage can lid, and
Yep.
nobody could get you.
Yep. You'd be like Sparta. You'd be like Sparta out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be like Sparta. I'm telling you what, if you haven't seen that movie, I mean, what a well done. I mean, they really, the story was true. The event was true. And in fact, some of the things said during that battle and some of the best lines were actually supposedly said at the time, told over time and written down on parchment, I'm sure, or the finest sheepskin, and or whatever they wrote on back then. But Sparta was an incredible. They kicked their kids out in the wilderness, and if you lived through it, you got to come back and get the shit kicked out of you again for a couple of years. And that was your reward.
Get the shit kicked out of you to live and get the shit kicked out of you again.
And that was your reward. And if you lived through that, you got to be a soldier, and you got to go in, 300 up against what? How many was in the Persian army?
When you think about those gladiators that used to fight in the Colosseum, I mean, if you won, then you got to live to maybe get killed the next day or the next time you battle.
Yep. I got all kinds of things in this tea. Anything can happen tonight. I am no longer responsible for anything that may happen. For anything that may happen. Did you happen to catch that video, Steve?
Which one's that?
Oh my gosh, you would absolutely love it. I know you were probably doing your show, and I started real early because
I noticed I was sitting there. I was in my premiere, and I heard this bum bum bum, this music, and it was when yours started. I was already sitting in there, and it scared the shit out of me.
That's my little parrot starting with that guitar, man. Yeah. My favorite is the drummer. I swear, when I found that gift, that is a gift, and how I found that, I have no idea. I was looking at animal drummer. You have no idea how hard it is to find one GIF if you got an idea and you're looking for something specific.
Oh, I've been there.
Holy shit. And you'll go through it, and then you'll find one, and you'll try to get it and download it and all this other stuff, and then whatever you use won't accept it. You're like, oh, you're back on it again. You have no idea how dedicated people like Steve and I and everybody behind the scenes, with Steve and over at Among the Missing, and how many channels you got now? 10, 11? Is it an even dozen yet?
Well,
half dozen.
Five that I'll admit to. I've got a couple more that are in the works in the background.
So. You got some out on the dark inner tubes.
Yeah, just
you gotta go to
some are on the back burner. But I would like to invite everybody
to come
over
onion?
to no, I'm not doing the tour router thing yet. But I want to invite everybody to come over and subscribe to Insomniac Radio Theater.
Come on over.
That's mine and Nicole's channel that we're doing
Come on
together.
down. Throw
And
a link.
if you want to hear me just
Midnight throw a link.
reading regular stories over there, like fiction, and that's where my guided meditation and relaxation stuff is going to be. That's in the works.
Were they evil, Glenn? Were they evil?
What's that?
Glenn's saying Spartans.
Oh, Spartans are evil.
Were they? I'll tell you what, they were some fighters, dude. There were some fighters. Listen, I got mad respect for some warriors now. I mean, so were, a lot of people, and that doesn't mean I have no idea politically what. I mean, look at the Huns. I mean, look at the Vikings. There's some evil people now.
Oh, Midnight Society got it. Thank you, Nicole. There's a link. Look, go subscribe. We're almost to 1,000. We're less than 100 away. Help us get there.
Anytime, honey. You gotta ask. Just throw all his shit up here. Just throw it on up. I mean, I appreciate it.
But a lot of good stuff over there. A lot of good stuff. Just had an H.P. Lovecraft retrospective. That's 6 hours 45 minutes worth. And later tonight, going to turn loose 11 hours of the master himself, Vincent Price. It's amazing. Overnight.
Vincent was in the thing.
Yeah,
Vincent was in the. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw this up, put it in the background. You just keep talking. I'm going to turn it down real low. Yeah. See how low this is, because I want you to see some of this. What do you call it? Wait a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a second. It's almost there. Ephedra. Is that correct? Or is that a prescription drug?
That's a prescription.
Damn it, I never get it right.
Ephemera, paper collectibles, notices, things you've clipped out of the paper, envelopes, postcards, stamps. Yeah. Stamps, that's actually...
Every time I think I got it.
It starts with a P, fillet something. But ephemera is paper collectibles. Mrs. Fox taught me that when I was in kindergarten. This is true. If you remember my video about the haunted photograph, that was in the little wad of stuff that she gave me with a bow tied around it. Ephemera.
That's right. That's right. The photo. That's a tell it. Can you tell how do you feel about telling a little bit about that? Because that's
I don't know if I should tell a story or not.
Steve,
I don't know.
I know you're shy.
Kind of backwards,
You probably can't put together more than 5-6 words to tell a story. Try. But golly, anyway, if you try, I'd sure appreciate it.
My mom had this friend that she'd known since she was a little girl. Lady was old. I mean, she was 100 years old or something when I was in kindergarten. And we would stop by and see her sometimes. Mom would say, I'm going to go visit Miss Fox. And I like going over there because she would give me a cookie or something. Another thing she used to do, she would save stuff, like those little bits of paper stuff she'd clipped out of the newspaper, postcards,
the ephedra,
things like that, the ephemera. And she taught me how to say that, ephemera.
Ephemera.
Ephemera, I think, ephemera. I maybe not spelled it right, but that's how you say it.
He's not a raconteur.
And so one time she gave me this little packet of stuff and had a bow tied around it. It was some postcards and some comics that she clipped out of the newspaper and recipes. And there was also some photographs in there. And some of you, if you're my age, I bet Aunt Edna remembers it. Cisco, you probably remember it. Back in the day, before Sally Struthers was doing it on TV, they would send you actual little black and white pictures of these orphans that you could adopt. And I don't know if you actually got the one in the picture or not. Who knows?
But, that was, I always found that creepy. It scared the shit. Didn't you get like those stamps too? It seemed like for a while there, everything was a stamp. You could get an album with a stamp or a book with a stamp.
What was the seals, the Easter seals?
Easter seals. Everything was perforated and sticky. Back in
the day, they sent little
60s
like wallet-sized photos of kids, and she might have like 50 or 100 of them.
Again,
and I think she had probably donated money at some point, and you got on a list. And they would send her just gobs and gobs of them, and she would save them for me. Well, one day she gave me this pack of ephemera. I got home. I'm looking through it, sorting it out. The cartoons over here, the recipes over here, postcards over here. And then here's these pictures. And I'm flipping through them, and there was one little boy in there. He looked like a black-eyed kid. I mean, he had an evil look on his face. Of course, he was an orphan. the kid, he'd seen some shit, you could tell. But
It's
but
not funny. It's not
no,
funny.
not all kidding aside, though, he'd seen some stuff. But that's just he had this hateful look. I mean, the other kids were either wild eyed, like, oh, it's a camera, or they were, pleading. This kid was just angry. He was just mad, and he looked evil, and I could feel that coming off the photo.
Mm,
And I
mm.
thought, boy, I don't like this little kid. I'm
Probably
gonna
knew Alice.
and I don't remember all the circumstances off the top of my head, but I think that time I threw him away, and then
He
he and
scared you. I know you. I remember you telling me he scared.
he scared me,
Yeah, he
and
scared you.
he ended up back. I threw him in the garbage, and then I found it under the couch.
You
Uh,
didn't just
I
throw it in the
had some
Didn't you
comic book.
throw it in the garbage and your dad had a burn pile?
Well, that was later,
Oh, okay.
but the first
I'm
time I
sorry.
just took it out and put it in the garbage in the garage
Oh, thank
to
you.
go out there, and it showed back up. I think I took some comic books out from under the couch. I might be getting it back. It's in my book here, but
Hmm.
I just flicked it, and it went under the couch.
Oh, it gives me the
And
creeps.
then when I looked under there to see where it was, I couldn't see it. So I'm looking around. I went and got the flashlight, and then I saw it. He was standing up, right side up against one of the couch legs, like staring back at me. And I thought, oh hell no, I got to get rid of this.
Oh, hell no.
So that time I took it out and I put it in a soup can and put a bunch of my mother's Aquanet in there because you know how that stuff would
Oh,
blow up.
that's
See,
like
that was one of
napalm.
my favorite things when we burned the garbage to have a can of Aquanet in there because I would slip and throw it away if it still had a little bit in it. And there was times I once I saw a fireball shoot across the top of the house and landed up in the woods where my swing set was. But yeah, I took that little kid out there, and I mean I put sprayed a good quarter inch of final or aqua net in
That
there.
should have done it.
And I wasn't supposed to, play with matches, but I thought this warranted some special attention.
Mm.
So I was flicking matches and just tossing them at that soup can, and I was coming close and couldn't quite get it. And finally, I got right up on it, and I lit a match, and I just kind of dropped it in, and it was like a little napalm thing, a little explosion, a little nuclear explosion. When I was just sort of whoop, and a fireball shot up, and I looked around, and I saw that picture of that little boy. It was burning and on fire, turned into ash, and
Oh,
it came floating down and landed at my feet. And then the last thing that burned up was those little black eyes.
the black
I
eye.
think that photograph was
Can you imagine
bewitched or
like one of the
cursed or haunted or
ashes like
something.
floated through the air and like it's stuck
Yeah,
on?
and
I'd have lost my
and
mind.
then the can itself was making noises, and I think it was just the heat, crushing. But it sounded like it was something knocking on that
The
can to get
screaming
out,
and
and I just
oh geez.
yeah, it was.
That
I
was
was like
creepy.
6 years old, like shit.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
give
the
me any more
creepiest
pictures,
part of
lady.
that was it being under the couch, and then it's just somehow showing back up
Well, I
again.
knew
And
I threw it away, and then
that
I had a
just
stack of comic
you
books
told
under
me
the
that story
couch.
the first
I
time we
took the
talked on the
comic
phone.
books out. I opened up a comic book, and there he was inside the comic book, staring right back at me. And I know, as sure as I'm sitting here, I took it
No,
out in the garbage, and
no,
we went to Kaz Walker grocery stores. Anybody in the South remember Kaz Walker stores? But
sounds familiar.
we put our groceries in a Kaz Walker bag and set it out in the garage, or our garbage in Kaz Walker bags, set it out in the garage. My dad would take them out to the burn pile, and I got to do it, but I usually supervised. But that was one of my favorite things to do was set the garbage on fire. I think I was a little
Oh,
firebug back at one point, but
it's so funny because I do remember you telling me that story very first time. And again, I remember things by what chair I was sitting in when I was having the conversation, where
yeah,
I was, where what was the living room decorations, whatever the decor, where I was. And I remember hearing that story for the first time and it giving me absolute chills
yeah.
because I
I
don't remember if something similar
I think I
happened.
probably left out some details of the orders a little different.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't told that
it's
story
in the
in
book.
quite a
Which
while,
book is
but
that in? Which
that's
book?
in My Strange World.
There you go. If you get My Strange World, you can. Because listen, when we remember these things, even if it's happened, we've told it 1,000 times.
Edna, she just liked to give me little gifts, and
Yeah.
that was one of the things, just a little bundle. She didn't do it on purpose or knowing that
No.
that photo was haunted.
No, those things were
The
everywhere.
yeah,
Those pictures were everywhere. And here's the thing, Steve. What if it was, what if you had strong at a young age, you had strong, intuition, and you
yeah,
were already your abilities and stuff were coming at you, especially in that, whether you want to call it psychometry or whatever. But what if it's like those bunk bed things? Think
yeah,
about it now. Are you tracking me? I mean, what if people over there are putting curses on these pictures because they know they're going to come into big bad
yeah. What
us?
about that? And
Listen,
you could
our
send these out, send them into homes. I mean,
around the
they
world,
literally went
people,
into hundreds of thousands of
you know,
homes back in the '60s and
America
'70s.
ain't what, to everybody what you think. I mean, some people are just, and plus other people are doing it, whether you're just putting a whammy on it with the voodoo, the hoodoo, the mamby jamby, whatever it
And
may
there's
be,
power in
for
a
whatever
picture.
reason.
That's a
For whatever
likeness.
reason.
That's an
Yeah,
image.
it's
There's
possible.
places where they'll take that and use it like a voodoo doll. They'll stick pins in a picture of something. You don't. Them.
Again, if there's love and light and good energy and something like this, why can't the opposite be true? People, we were talking about that last week, Steve. People have no time, problem sometimes believing that, oh, miracles could happen. It was in the Bible, it was in this, it's written way back.
And that
Caveman,
did
drew it
everybody
on the
see my
pyramids, whatever.
appearance on Belief Hole podcast? That was the most fun I've ever had over there,
Oh,
I think. And
absolutely,
that those guys bring the fire. But
they do.
somebody
I
left
love.
a comment over there that I want to read. This said
All right,
something to me. They were speaking to me. Uh, I believe you have so many encounters because there's no deviating from good and evil within you. Perhaps I may be wrong, but you are most assuredly a soldier fighting the good fight. You
there you
most
go.
assuredly are a conduit for the Lord. Some folks walk that fine line as trees in the wind.
Uh,
Jesus, the occult, witchcraft, Jesus. I see you as open minded, but still walking the line of faith.
there you
Praise
go.
God, you're a kind man. And I think that's
How
true to a
nice is
degree.
that?
That, that,
You should start printing some of these out, framing them and hanging them on a wall, and and it's not an ego thing. It's a when you're having a bad day
yeah,
and
then
you
and
forget your path,
and the
the
favorite
mile
one that I
markers
ever got, besides the first message I ever got from Nicole,
was the one
the
that
the
helped
fir-
that.
that
Yeah.
that guy where
Yep.
the lady they were driving and the husband was driving,
Yeah.
he had a seizure,
You never know.
and the wife was awake because she was intently listening to me, and she managed to get his foot off the gas and got the car out
Again.
of the road, and she said,
Mm,
"Thank you for letting us go home to our 7 year old daughter. That might not have
yep.
happened." Said, "Not you, but your voice was in the right place at the right time because they were listening to it
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
their car
Yeah.
stereo."
That's it right there. You got to earn compliments. Listen, when I look at a compliment or something or a comment on a video that, like, say, even from like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and but they're just now listening to it, for whatever reason, and they'll put in there like, oh gosh, this is exactly what I needed to hear, or it helped me through a hard time, or I just lost my mom, I got one of those and this helped me so much, and or you're helping somebody through over the loss of somebody from an untimely death, let's put it that way, something like that, and it's something you said or did or showed or talked about gave them strength. That's what I'm saying about putting out in the universe, because you're trusting it with good intent, to put it out there. Now we get silly here all the time, but again, that's just laughter. I know somebody that cleared a house of a really negative spirit. It was a human one, but it was negative. It was in a bad spot. By just they tried everything, and her friend just went and bought a joke book, and they
Sat there
drank
and
some wine,
wrote jokes.
told jokes, and laughed their butts off.
You raise that
Stand up,
vibration. You can run off a lot of
watch
stuff if you
stand
just
up
raise your
comedy.
vibration. And
Absolutely.
Catheta, what you're asking about there, it's Friedrich Nietzsche. And he said,
Nietzsche.
be careful when you appear into the abyss because
There's
the
that
abyss also
also.
appears into you.
Yep.
Appears, the abyss also appears into you. I'll get it right here in a minute,
And
but it
what's
was
that
Nietzsche.
one
He was
about the
a
monster, Steve?
philosopher from 1844 to about 1900 in Germany.
I put it in the book.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
What's that one about the I'm looking it up right now. Um, here it is. Right. Let me share it.
And that abyss thing, that's true. Like when I'm doing these missing person cases, there's times that I have to step back and get out because they get, especially the kids, they get in your head and they will haunt you. And the same with the
kids in your head.
True crime stuff. These some of these serial killers and stuff,
You
you
guys
get
can't
into
see
their
that.
head,
Hold on.
they get back into yours. You gotta keep your distance, keep your guard up, keep your vibration high when you're studying or watching that kind of stuff. So it
All
can
right,
get
here's
you
the
before
one
you
I
know
was
back.
looking for. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster.
Absolutely.
And
Because sometimes to fight a monster, you have to become the
yeah,
monster. You
that's
gotta
like the hardest thing, Max. We all have it. We all have it. To have that and know you have that and get control of it, that's like, if you can do that in life, you know what I mean? Sometimes I got to grab mine by the tail and go, yo, yo, yo. It's like, whoa, pull it back. Is this worth it? You have to reprocess and reassess things and stuff like that. We all do, you know. It's like how many times you're going through something and you just want to go bit with your like just 3-inch chart, you just that much with the steering wheel, man. Like bit some, but you don't do it. And that might be a little monster, but what happens if you let go and it just goes crazy? And that's why in some Native American cultures and a lot of other cultures around the world, trust me, it's like in the core, maybe different, but it's similar, where they teach you to quell that, to put that back down and pull out your good and keep that separate. You know what I mean? It's like I told it before about pulling out your shadow person. This is something, I got to go do that I don't necessarily want to do. That comes in so handy when you're talking to ghost soldiers on a battlefield that you're trying to talk down. Speaking to it like that. Look, I understand. You had to do something and be something you're not proud of. But you should be, because you fought for the one standing next to you, the one. That's the whole thing. Because when it comes right down to it, it doesn't matter why you joined, why you signed, why you wound up there. You're fighting for the one standing next to you, because that's how small your world gets. It's true. Yeah. It's true. So I'm going to play this in the background, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of nostalgic old movie posters, Steve, and things like that. But I don't want to make it too loud because I want you to be able to. Is that too loud?
No, I can barely hear it.
Good? Is that good?
You turn it up so
it's nice though. It's nice. It's nice.
Like relaxing music.
Yeah. Asher Valero. It's incredible. But the architecture, Steve. The architecture, I think of the hands that carved these things, that molded, whether it was making the mold in the beginning or later. But look at these posters. Look at this, Metropolis. Look at this. Look at this. Amazing.
I have to look at it over here, and there's a delay.
Can you see? Yeah. And all of the architecture, the front of the building. This is Ford's Theater.
If you've never seen Fritz Lang's Metropolis, go watch it. You won't believe the time period that it's from, that they made a movie like that. I mean, same with Nosferatu. Yeah. And some of those old. And the man who laughs. There's some old silent films that are just incredible. It's just that's a good movie if you've never seen it. The Uninvited. It's a good ghost movie. Other than that, Ms. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play?
Here comes the Maltese Falcon and the Majestic. Oh, that place is so haunted. We've got a couple of haunted stories, and Steve's got one. Look at the old Snow White poster.
Yeah, I didn't get to mine last time, and I'll try to
get
tell
to
it this time. Yeah.
Look at that old Snow White. Don't miss that one. Did you see it?
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, I'll go back. You got to see the art on that. You got to see the art on this. Look at this.
Yeah.
You got a delay. I'll hold it for a second.
Yeah. Okay, I see it over here.
Look at that.
That is that's the lobby card for the.
Yep, to amaze you, charm
and
you,
that I think that was the first Yeah, it says
full
right there,
length
first full
production.
length production, and
Uh-huh.
that was where they used the animation camera,
Mm-hmm.
where you had a background, you had moving parts here. Now the camera was still, but the parts would move. It was on glass or
On that
celluloid,
gel. They have them,
and
like you go Disney World, they have them hanging up through something. I can't
I've
remember what
seen
it
some
was.
of those.
You see
Uh,
the gel hanging
yeah, but
framed.
some of those shots where they had the animation camera set up, there might be 20 or 30 glass plates in
Wow.
there that were hand painted. Everything moved independently and differently. They were just that they had never there had never been that style of animation before. Disney with Snow
That
White, they just set a precedence there.
incredible. And somebody in the chat was saying about that when Disney got the award for that, they gave him 7 little ones for the dwarves or something.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny. Look at this one, A Man for All Seasons. Did you see that one?
yeah.
Incredible.
That's
All
playbill.
Quiet on the
That's been
Western.
a live performance. That Man for All Seasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quiet on the Western Front.
Look at that. It's incredible. And
It
even
happened
look at
one night. Claudette Colbert and
yeah.
Clark Gable.
Suddenly, yeah.
Gone Girl Fury.
The
Sinatra.
architecture on these.
Yeah.
Look at this one coming up. Chuck Connors.
Geronimo.
Oliver, man. Oliver. Hook.
Consider yourself.
Yep. Majestic. That's haunted.
That's one of my favorite musicals to see live is Oliver. And I also love Annie. If you've ever get a chance to see Annie, even off Broadway, go see it.
Wow.
And another, that's a good one too, West Side Story. Another good one to go see live is Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I love the film version of that. But if I'm around anywhere where they're putting on an actual production of that, I'll go.
Stopped this because I want to know, is that Carol Channing? I know she played Hello Dolly, but is Ted here?
It sure looks like her.
Ted, is this Carol Channing? Did anybody tell me in the chat?
I think everybody that subscribed to Insomniac Radio Theater, 911 subs. We need 89 more to get it up.
Oh wow! Get over there and sub. Hit that sub.
Please, we appreciate it. We're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do the guided meditation. Gonna do relaxation. Gonna do storytelling. Stories in the rain. Listen to that if you haven't. Gonna do some prayers over there. A little bit of everything for everybody.
Nice. Look at the architecture.
Excuse me. I should have muted my mic.
Look at the cherubs. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Look at this.
The carvings.
Look at that. The Capitol Theater.
Much ado about nothing. A little Shakespeare there for you.
Yeah. Look at the art. Look at the cherubs and the front. Look at the front of this damn theater.
The facade there. Look at that. That's
incredible.
That's all probably hand carved out of whatever it's carved.
The trades, the hands that touch this, the hands that touch it, the feet that danced on the stage, the guy that pulled the ropes, the one walking on the catwalks, the one sitting in the theater wishing to God they could get on that stage, the writers, the producers, the directors, everybody involved. The girl at the concession stand, the guy that sold the popcorn. I mean, just the whole thing. The people that built it, that put up the wall.
The guy that stood there and tore your ticket in half. And,
and there's going to be some nice ticket booths coming up.
And they wore uniforms.
Think of the
they
energy.
had like a hat and a jacket and slacks. Almost. That was a big deal to go to the theater, especially those showplace theaters.
Oh God, yeah. And the people in the crowd, and just everything from the concessions to the usher. Remember what a big deal it was for the usher? Had the little pillbox hat, and with the flashlight would take you to you, show you your seat in the dark, and everything was all, red velvet. And I've got some inside the theaters. I take you from the facades on the outside. They had those stanchions
with the velvet ropes there.
Oh gosh,
they're ready for you to go in, they had unhooked that little velvet rope and
my glasses are pinching me. Oh my gosh.
And now it's all like multiplex horse shit.
Oh yeah. It's all Even the nice ones. It's not the same. It's not the same. And all these people, all these actors that you see these playbills, and they were on Broadway or whatever theater for so many. Some of them years. Like Cats, and gosh, we could go back forever. And West Side Story, and all of the, I grew up hearing about them because I was in New Jersey. That's all you heard about. My whole high school was commercial after commercial of Avita, Cats. I can't remember. Rent probably. Yeah, so many different. You just got
Grease.
you just got so used to hearing the songs from these, Broadway musical. And my whole life, I've never been to one. Went to one off Broadway. I saw Cab Calloway in Bubble and Brown Sugar.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of off Broadway. I've never been to a Broadway show because
I'm not paying $350 a ticket to see that, or $500,
and then when I lived
$600.
in Las Vegas, they would do a lot of off Broadway versions stuff, but they were shortened. Like I saw the Phantom of the Opera, Phantom. I saw that off Broadway, and it was about 3 hours long. In Vegas, it was 90 minutes because they don't, 3 hours with intermission.
Let's go.
But yeah, just Vegas, 90 minutes. They don't want you away from the tables or the machines. Too long. Seriously.
Yep.
Saw the producers out there too with David Hasselhoff and was he in that? Tony Danza was in it when I saw it.
Was he? Look at this one. Last of the Mohicans. Is it coming up on yours yet? I know there's a delay. That's why I'm holding.
Yeah, I've got it over here. Yeah, it's real time here, but my camera's in the way.
I know.
But over here on this monitor, it's about.
I'm guessing this dude up front holding the fainted chick over here is probably Hawkeye. I don't know. I kind of like the version that I got to see in the 90s better, but hell of a poster. Who's the guy playing? Is that Chingachgook? I hope that's not. I don't know. Maybe it's Lucas. Sure. I don't know. But anyway, the posters are they're very cool. Kirk Douglas Theater. That's in Hollywood, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who else has got one there?
Look at this one.
Hollywood. Who's on Golden Pond? Who was that guy? Henry Ford. There's Henry Ford.
Henry Ford, the car maker, or racist?
No, the actor. What's his name? It's not Henry Ford.
Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda. I was close. There's
Jimmy
a
Stewart.
Henry Fonda theater there, but there I think it's the Rialto in L.A. where they show the El Capitan. There's one there where they show old black and white movies around the clock. You can go.
Wow.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a couple
of those theaters in here too. There's a couple of them that's gone specialized in different. But look at this one. Can you see the Sweeney Todd?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder. I mean, the artists that do the playbills, the artists
that do the dark and bloody God. I've seen that. I've seen
so many times.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Right? Geez, the amount of energy. Look at this poster. You know how many times I saw that in the theater? 26 times. I was 13 when that came out. Star Wars. Look at this, Camelot. Boy, was that was a moment in time right there. That whole song.
Camelot.
When he sang that, sang that, one brief and shining moment. That one, that moment in that song, that was personified by this version.
What else to go? The Lion in
on Broadway.
Winter.
I want to know how in the Winter Garden Theater
winning season.
Can one of my mods look up and see how long Camelot? It's Richard Harris, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to get it wrong. With Richard Harris, how long that ran on Broadway and what years? Can somebody do that for me? I appreciate it. Hey, Pammy Smith, welcome in. I appreciate it because that was, and then I know they did the movie. But it cannot be the same as seeing it live on a stage like that.
I would love to have seen it with some of those big.
Thank God they did
Broadway
a movie
actors.
You get a taste.
Yeah, you get a taste of
Guys and Dolls and stuff like that.
Anything, West Side Story, Paint Your Wagon, any of that. If you get a chance to see even an off Broadway or a local theater production of it, go see it. It's just
Richard Harris was
there's
great.
a magic about the theater that you don't get in a movie. Cisco, I'm going to have to run and return my coffee to the earth. But,
okay,
I'll be back in just a moment.
Go ahead. I'm going to play.
I'll tell a story when I get back.
You're going to tell a story? I'm going to tell a story too. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to throw this one up. And we're going to go where we're going to go. We're going to go into a haunted theater where? In What part of the United States? I've got so many of these little ones I don't remember. There's a couple on each one. So I'm surprised too. Oh, we're going to Virginia. This was good.
Creaks and noises, or the feeling that you're not by yourself
The
when you
Barter
kind of know
Theater.
you're the only one around.
There is always something lurking in that room.
Robert Porterfield, our founder, people have said.
And just so you know, if the theater spelled it R-E, I spelled it R-E. And if they spelled it E-R, I spelled it E-R, because both are correct depending on where you are and if you're going back with that vintage, very old English. But I just did what the theater did, so I think both are correct. It's kind of like jewelry and jewelry. You know, in the UK it has two L's, or in parts of. Isn't that odd? It's so weird.
They've seen him in the balcony or seen him kind of on the wings of the stage.
2 Confederate soldiers that were smuggling ammunition, and those ghosts haunt the tunnel to this day.
It's really kind of claustrophobic in here. A hallmark of Abingdon, the Barter Theater comes with plenty of spooky legends and ghostly sightings. Barter employees say there's multiple ghosts that haunt the historic theater, and they range from friendly to truly frightening. So join us as we take a look inside.
Barter Theater has a rich history, and that includes many ghosts that haunt our various spaces. So probably our most famous ghost is our founder, Robert Porterfield. He haunts the theater.
Employees say you're most likely to see Porterfield out in the audience, watching shows. His preferred spot, the left opera box, wearing his signature 3-piece white suit.
Actors will often see him from stage, see a man pacing back and forth in the left opera box, watching the shows and seeming to enjoy himself.
People have said they've seen him in the balcony or seen him kind of on the wings of the stage, kind of like in almost a disembodied kind of see-through figure of our founder, which we're cool if he hangs out here with us. You know, without him, we wouldn't be here either.
One major encounter with Porterfield's ghost happened during the 2016 season announcement event, as Barter producing artistic director Richard Rose stood on stage announcing upcoming shows. Porterfield made his presence known.
As soon as he said the words, "We think Robert Porterfield would be proud," every single light in the theater went out. The power cut out, but not town-wide. It was only in this building. The power stayed out for a little bit less than a minute, then all the lights came back on.
One actor reading through an old newspaper clipping discovered something else. That day was the anniversary of Porterfield's death.
So we definitely think he made an appearance, but in a kind and supportive way.
Ghost or not, Porterfield is always watching. Yes, that's his face, welded on a cherub high above the audience. But if you're looking for some truly frightening ghosts, you may have to look underneath the theater, where an underground tunnel dates back to the Civil War.
So downstairs in our tunnel, we have definitely a more hostile presence. So the scary room is past here. This is like our wardrobe room where laundry maintenance happens. And this is the entrance to the tunnel.
This tunnel connects the Barter to the nearby Martha Washington Inn. It was used by Confederate soldiers to smuggle ammunition. When Union soldiers found out about this secret tunnel, they killed the 2 Confederate soldiers inside. Climbing up the dirt stairs, it's just as creepy as you might expect.
Well, this is awesome. I feel very uneasy.
Yes, I know. It's really kind of claustrophobic in here.
So you can't go all the way through?
No, the tunnel collapsed in the 1890s. So one ghost is over on this side, though.
This ghost is best known for chasing out carpenters working in the tunnel late one night.
Something happened, and no one knows exactly what it was, but that they felt an incredibly frightening, perhaps a violent presence in the tunnel. They abandoned all of their tools, left their food, sprinted out of the theater, and called Rick Rose, our artistic director.
Kevin MacLeod, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now, why is that playing again? What the heck? All right, we're good. So, thank you guys, gatekeepers, Kathita and Kathleen and a couple of everybody else. Richard Harris. I don't know if he did it all 3 years, but Camelot ran from, say it again. Here we go. Camelot opened on Broadway at the Majestic Theater of Haunted. We talked about it last week. It had a big old thing on it. December 3rd, 1960, 2 years before I was born, and closed January 5th, 1963, a year after I was born. Wow, almost a year. After 873 performances and 2 previews. Whew. Man. I wonder what the longest running one was. I don't know. Yep. The Shakespeare play, too. Yeah. That's Macbeth. And they won't say, I remember watching a thing about that. They're real serious about that. That, break a leg, a lot of suspicions. But the truth of the matter is, all the different stories I've been reading, doing this and listening to, different ones I can't show you because, copyright stuff and everything. But, the news stuff, I can get you little clips of it, get you an idea. The stories are very deep. The one with Olive, I've got a thing coming up that'll tell a little bit more about her story. But she's in both of the intro vids. And a beautiful picture of her with her, they all had all that, wonderful hair going on and everything. And they always caught them, the pictures the right light and the right side, of course. And, just tragic, the different things that happened to these people. There's another ghost who, fell off the scaffolding. Somebody that got electrocuted and still haunts the place. Somebody, several. There's more than you'd like to know about people, taking themselves, freeing their energy, you know what I mean, on their own. Hey, Reagan, welcome in. So, and they come back and haunt. And then there's the ones that are kind of like the Peg Entwistles, feeling kind, that the lady who jumped off the Hollywood sign. Now, she haunts there, of course, the hill, and if you know how it is. And they've seen her walking through like she's going up, and she takes her shoes off and, leaves her purse and everything, and, goes up, climbs up the ladder and jumps off. And people see her leaping off. They see her walking up. They see her at all different stages of that act, including seeing bodies laying there. When kids go up there to mess around or whatever, some have called 911 and said, they see a body laying up there of a lady. It looks like she jumped off the thing, and they go, and there's nothing there. And the kids are like really shook up. I guess, not everybody would know that story, but I would say it's pretty well known. But, we don't know if they knew about it before. So, it's different. We all know them. I hear you in the chat too, talking about, the local one is haunted, or, all this, it seems so. I'm sitting here, I'm staggering around because I'm thinking about all the different stories about, there's another one coming up, or we watched it last week, where one guy shows up at the beginning of just opening night. There was another one, I hope I got that on here, but it's got to be one of the most witnessed, vivid sighting, if you want to call it that, experience, episode, whatever, of a ghost. And this guy who, so many stories, I can't remember particulars. I know he was the owner of the theater, the guy who built the theater, somebody very connected to that theater, and loved the arts, and very prominent, well-known, Dapper Dan, and he passed, and it was 3 months after he died, a play opened, And when the entire company came out to do their bows at the end of the night, there's that, if you've ever been, and I think it's a tradition they hold true even in like high school plays and stuff. I know they did it when I was in way back in the day. And like they'll save the best for last, like the chorus will come out and the dancers and the whole shebang, and come out and take a bow and stand there as a company, and then the stars come out in the middle and it's a big shebang. It's like, woo, everybody goes crazy. At that moment, after the woo, right in between the stars, right smack dab in the middle, here comes this ghost, I shit you not. And it's a vivid, it's him. And everybody recognized him and everybody applauded, but in a nervous kind of way, because some knew, some didn't. But those who recognized this guy realized he had died 3 months before. And he came out, he stepped in, he took his bow, he did his little, and then took a step back and vanished. Hundreds saw it. That's an incredible story, And I believe the gentleman said that he had been seen after, but nothing as prominent as that. And so many people saw it at the same time. And we never hear about stuff like that. How do you hear something like that and then think, we talk, who still, talks themselves out of it? Go, oh, that could have been a guy dressed like him, or, I saw him vanish. Yeah, well, I would assume not back then. I think that was earlier on. I think that was probably, in the 40s or 50s that this happened. They didn't have like CGI and holograms that I know of back then. It's possible, I guess. But depending on who and what you're talking about. But I don't think people could actually disappear. It wasn't a puff of smoke. There wasn't a, mirrors and things like that. But anyway, and he's been seen after. So stories like that are crazy. And, I love them. We can't get enough of them. And gosh, I hope Steve's okay. Steve, are you out there? You all right? Proof of life. Are you good? Do you need more time? There he is.
Yeah, I was just sitting back here listening to you.
What do you think about all that? Were you?
I'm still on the fence. No, I just got back. I was messing with you.
Well, the cool part about this one was the tunnel, I thought.
Yeah.
Because this part here, let me turn it down just a titch. This part here where they're the Confederates, I guess it was. They were going under, and this was, on the other side of this tunnel.
It was used by Confederate soldiers to smuggle ammunition. When Union soldiers found out about this secret tunnel, they killed the 2 Confederate soldiers inside. Climbing up the dirt stairs, it's just as creepy as you might expect.
Well, this is awesome.
Okay, so there's Confederate soldiers getting ammo and going from one place to the next. Okay, from the theater in this dirt with dirt steps too. It's real creepy. You know where they wind up on the other side? The Martha Washington.
Yeah.
And you've been there.
Oh, this is the Barter Theater in Abingdon, Virginia.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have been there. I've stayed at the Martha Washington. Yeah. I had a haunted experience there.
If they walk forward, that's where they're going to come out. They're going to poke their heads out like
a lot of those stars, Broadway stars, and people that were there performing in those theater productions, they stayed in Martha Washington, and if they were there in the wintertime or just to avoid the crowds, they travel back and forth through that tunnel. They've seen stuff in that tunnel. They've seen stuff in the Martha Washington. They've seen stuff in the Barter Theater. But that is a wonderful, wonderful place, both of those places.
Working in the tunnel.
Yeah, she's telling about there was carpenters and they were working in the tunnel, trying to shore it up or whatever. And they wound up leaving, left all their tools, their lunch, everything, never came back. Just gone.
But that Martha Washington,
look at the steps.
Look at that. Martha Washington's been so many different things. It was a girls' school. It's been a hospital. It was a field hospital during the Civil War. They had the bodies laid
left
out in
their
the basement
food,
till the ground was thawed
sprinted
out
out
enough
of
to
the
bury him.
theater, and called Rick
But
Roser,
the whole of Abingdon has some haunts in it.
Wow. Poor Jim's falling apart. Low energy. This is the lowest energy I've ever seen Jim have. Don't be like Jim. Don't be like Jim. And that's the music again. Kevin MacLeod, Classic Horror is the name of the song. And I wish I could get my hair to do that. That'd be awesome. Anyway, there's Crispy talking to the shadow people again. I'll tell you what, he's always trying to talk them over to the good side.
Oh.
You know, it's all therapy. It's you know, it's a project, Steve. You know, but that's cool about the Martha Washington. That's famous. You know, the one I like to hear about when you say Martha Washington, for some reason it reminds me of the Wayne. You know, in that bar where they saw I think it was on Unsolved Mysteries or whatever. They're in this dark, beautiful pub. Would love to have a cold beer there. And they're watching the TV, and the TV starts to turn. The picture on the TV, not the television set, just the picture, turns completely all the way around and then came back again. The lights would go on and off. The ghost there would mess around, and the bar would like, hey! You know, it was like having a buddy show up.
Yeah.
You know, ghost. Do you remember which one story I'm telling about? Where is that? The Wayne? Is that? That's in a weird spot, isn't it? Like Rhode Island or something?
Something
out
like
nowhere?
Detroit, somewhere like that. Wayne.
Somebody said, you know, Minnesota. Sound like I've been hearing a lot from Jesse, a lot about Jesse Ventura lately. I'll tell you what, that man has cracked me up for decades. And I'll tell you what, he wasn't a bad governor.
If it's the right place, it's the Wayne Hotel in Wayne, Pennsylvania.
Is it in Pennsylvania?
Let me see if this
is it haunted. Do haunted Wayne.
I don't know if this doesn't look very haunted. Let me
do haunted Wayne and see what comes up. But yeah, that's crazy about Camelot. I'm gonna put that back up because that was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'd love to turn that down. Okay, how about that one? Hotel. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Ghost Detectives, the Haunted Wayne Hotel. Yeah, it is in Honesdale, Pennsylvania.
Well, how about that? Okay.
Haunted Wayne, extremely haunted hotel.
Yeah, is it the Haunted Wayne? Right.
That's what it says.
And they say the TV will turn. What does it say? What else?
Picture.
Oh, look at there! Look at there! Yeah.
That just looks haunted.
Yeah, it does. Is there a pub there? That's the one I'm talking about, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not a restaurant. Maybe it's a hotel or something. I don't know.
Many people drawn to the local hotel. Basement where one of the former cooks is residing as a ghost. It's inexplicable, says the hotel owner. Yeah. Thermal signature. Ghost hunters. Doesn't really say much about what they see there.
It doesn't. Anyway, I think they called it the Haunted Wayne, and
been there since the 1700s.
It was either sightings or Unsolved Mysteries. It did a really good write-up on it, and everybody was just so cool about the ghost in the pub. They were just like, it was like Cheers. It was like Norm showed up, you know.
Yeah.
The ghost would start doing something. Everybody, hey, how you doing? You know, leaving stool.
Hotel Lane, Honesdale, Pennsylvania.
Oh, well, Reagan, get over here. Where are you waiting on, girl? Or guy? I'm not sure. Reagan's a great name. Reagan, of course, always reminds me, though, of...
Yeah, there's a Bistro 1202 there. And
it reminds me of Ravens, too, which is cool.
It says their chef is CIA trained. I don't know what that means. Culinary Institute of America, I guess. I was thinking the other three-letter agency there.
Well, come on over. I'll put the kettle on. Come and get a cup of... Reagan's going to fix my hair like that. My skeleton me.
Yeah.
You should see... I hadn't put a Steve's old Tennessee hillbilly zombie thing up here in a long time, but he doesn't quite look like that anymore. I have to get a new one. We'll have to get a
Hillbilly Wizard is no more. I'm kind of
right. I'm
going to have to trim this down.
This is more.
trying to go for Jim Mars look, and I've thought about just cutting this.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Gotta
look
get you
like
a
Colonel
step away
Sanders.
from
I don't
Mars.
know. I'm going to let Nicole pick out a good look for me because she's the one that has to look at me.
Well,
I'm
it's
already
only
getting
fair.
the better end of
It's,
that deal
it's
anyway.
only fair.
I've got a lot nicer package to look at there, trust me. So anything I can do that she likes, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's true, Reagan. I mean, there's been some hellish things people have done to each other back and forth since the beginning, since before recorded time. That's our whole point on this show. We always say, because she's talking about the Yankees, and I'm telling you, both sides. I mean, it's horrible on both sides. War stinks. So whether you're talking about the Comanche kicking, such and such's butt, or
Such and such
or
as butt. Is that what you said?
yeah. But because I have to be
butt.
careful when I start talking about Native American stuff, because somebody will jump up here or come in the comments later and tell me, the Comanche never fought the Navajo, and I'll be like, I know that. It's hard for, it's just, and again, who am I? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That everybody's been mean to the shit human beings have done to each other since the beginning of time is absolutely
Look
unconscionable.
at that. I opened up my book.
Unconscionable.
I opened it right to the chapter that I wanted.
There it is. Ghost of the Bijou.
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to do your
opened
story?
it up and it was right there. Do y'all want me to tell it or do you want me to read it? I can probably read it and I can tell it.
Let me take this down and we'll continue that after. We're going to have story time with Steve.
Oh, I just picked it up, but this is my book.
Are you ready? Do you need a glass of water?
World. I've got some coffee and a bottle
all right.
of pour water here.
Floor's
Recommend
yours.
this stuff. I drink it. Got Nicole drinking it. It is good stuff.
I'm going to get some
you
hot
like
water. You take over and I'll be right back. I'm listening.
Okay.
I got to get some hot water.
If you'd like to get a signed copy of this, I've got them on my Etsy store while they last, and they're about the same price as they are on Amazon, but they're signed, and I send them to you straight from me. Mail them. I got my own label, printer, and everything. One of you mods could drop a link to my link, either my link tree or Nicole and I have an Etsy store together. We have books on the occult, the paranormal, supernatural, everything that don't have a lot up over there right now. But I could show you. I've got a whole table full of books over here that I'm liquidating, trying to get as little as I can down to have to move to New England. So
yeah, I mean,
my books, it helps me out. It helps me downsize. And it helps me
is a bitch.
with my travel money. It is. This stuff grows. I didn't have anywhere near this stuff when I moved here, but I didn't buy that much either. It just, you put two things in a closet, you open it up, and there's 6 things in there.
I got Fibber McGee's closet. All my closets are Fibber McGee's closet. I wish I could dim the lights down for you or something, Steve. Or do you want a little like mood music in the background?
Just whatever you want to do. Let me see how many pages this is. I might be better off to tell it. I'll read it.
You read it. I'm gonna get you some
a little background here. Have to get, all right, let me turn my light up just a little bit over here. I've got studio lights over here and here, and I've got an app I can turn them up with. Give me just a second here. That one's white, and that one's kind of a set to a green.
It'll be really soft. Are we back? I think we were froze. Are we back?
That may be too bright. What a little mood music.
You got some mood lightning? Lightning, thunder and lightning.
Oh, actually, this does have a setting on it where I can make it.
I got you, my friend, right here.
I can make it look like it's lightning. Let me set it on that. Let's see how that'll work. Scene. There we go. It's lightning in here. How about that? Give me some music there.
Can you hear it?
We'll just make a production out of it.
Hey, we spare no expense here at the Journey Through the Gate. You just have right at it, my friend.
I'm in my book, My Strange World, chapter 18.
Should I introduce it?
And I opened it up right to it. That's amazing. I
feel like we're cheating you through. All right, hold on.
No such thing as coincidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Stockton.
Thank you, Cisco. I appreciate that warm introduction. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Hear the sound of my voice? Okay. This is chapter 18, Ghost of the Bijou. And then in the brackets here, there's a little parenthetical information. The Bijou Theater on Gay Street in Knoxville, Tennessee is a beautiful old building dating back before the turn of the last century. Much like its larger counterpart across the street, the Tennessee Theater, which is also purported to be haunted, by the way, it harkens back to the day of the grand showplaces that existed before the blasé multiplex cinemas of today. For a beautiful old theater, the Bijou Theater, once also known as the Lamar House in Knoxville, Tennessee, sure has some bad vibes and occurrences. I'd never really paid much attention to the theater and had only observed it while driving by, but after my initial experience, I began to delve into its history. I learned what a dark past this beautiful old building had accrued. My first encounter was at the Bijou was in 1989. A surgeon who I worked for in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, had just completed his law degree at the University of Tennessee, School of Law in Knoxville. Pleased upon graduating, because attorneys who can boast MD, JD after their names are cunningly rare, he took his entire office staff out to celebrate after the graduation ceremony. Due to its somewhat close proximity to the law school, the office manager from the surgical practice booked a private banquet room at the restaurant attached to the theater, known as the Bistro at the Bijou. The Bijou offers very elegant dining to match the elegant interior of the attached theater, but I'll get back to that in a moment. In the meantime, let's look into the not-so-elegant history of Knoxville's Bijou Theater. Originally, the Lamar House Hotel was a place where Knoxville's wealthy and elite met in the Victorian era. Around 1909, it was decided that what the hotel needed was an auditorium, and that was what was become known as the Bijou. It hosted many grand and famous performers of the day, including Dorothy Gish, John Philip Sousa, and even the Marx Brothers once graced the Bijou stage. On any given night, 1,500 people could be found inside watching the second run of the latest Hollywood epics such as Ben-Hur. Knoxvillians watched first-run movies at the much larger and grander Tennessee Theater across the street, which opened in 1928, or traveling performers such as the famed magician Harry Blackstone or the famous Ballet Rouge with Anna Pavlova. However, by the late 1960s and early 1970s, Knoxville's once vibrant downtown had deteriorated, and the Bijou had followed suit. Now the blocks on South Gay Street, where the elite and wealthy once met, were lined with flop houses, heroin dens, and houses of ill repute. The once grand Bijou barely remained open, and only did so because it was now showing pornographic movies, also called art films, to get past the censors. In early 1974, the owner of the Bijou was tossed out due to an unpaid property tax, and it looked like the entire building, including the now seedy Lamar House, would fall victim to the dreaded wrecking ball. However, a group of Knoxvillians with a fondness for architecture and a disdain for parking lots. Sadly, many of Knoxville's elegant old turn-of-the-century buildings were leveled and inexplicably turned into parking lots, which doesn't make any sense. Downtown Knoxville was dead and dying. The once fancy shops on the promenade and surrounding historic Market Square were shuttered, boarded, and empty. A once grand era of shopping had given way to strip malls in far-flung corners of Knox County, as well as the 1.3 million square foot mega mall named Westtown, which had opened on Kingston Pike in 1972. A mere few miles in a straight line from Knoxville's downtown. The Bijou was saved and currently is a showcase for national touring entertainment acts, although I did witness the Ramones perform a concert there back in the day. That was a good show. But along with the elegant trappings, the Bijou harbors some leftover residents, most of which are none too happy. From what I've read as well as personally experienced, the entire place is active with a number of ghosts, from the downstairs bathroom to the top floor, where a Confederate general injured in the Battle of nearby Fort Sanders during the Civil War unfortunately passed away. So back to the story. Here I was in the bistro attached to the theater, eating and drinking on my employer's dime. The 80s were very good to me in that respect. After washing down platefuls of hors d'oeuvres with a few glasses of expensive champagne, I found myself in desperate need of the gentlemen's facilities. The bistro was crowded. There were other parties of revelers besides ours, and I couldn't navigate a clear path to the restroom without disrupting a bunch of total strangers. So, knowing that the theater next door had restrooms, I hightailed it through the connecting doors and into the darkened edifice. Unbeknownst to me, at that time, there was a set of restrooms right there in the lobby. Maybe it was the champagne, or maybe it was the spirits of another sort, but somehow I failed to see those restrooms, clearly marked as I discovered on subsequent visits, and instead headed up the pitch-black stairs to the mezzanine level where I knew there were restrooms. Groping along in the dark, I made it about halfway up the grand staircase when I got an eerie feeling, like I wasn't alone on the stairs. And when I say pitch black, I'm not exaggerating. The stairway was totally blackout darkened. I slowed down, gingerly took a few more tentative steps, then decided this was probably a very bad idea. Before I could turn and begin to make my way down, I felt a very light touch on my arm, like the fingers of a tender female. Every hair on my neck and arms stood up. It felt as though I'd been hit with a bolt of electricity. I don't think my feet touched the dozen or so steps I covered on the way down. I raced out the front door of the theater and trotted around the corner and into an alley on Cumberland Avenue, just behind the theater. Thankfully, I hadn't soiled myself during my escape. I did what anyone would do. I contentedly peed in the alley behind a dumpster. Relieved, I ventured back into the bistro to be met with a large crowd coming out. It seemed all the other parties were leaving, so I went to another restroom in the restaurant that had been unavailable earlier to wash my hands, a consolation at least. When I went back to my group's private room, I didn't mention my little foray, but I did find that I was now 100% sober. Nothing kills a good champagne buzz like literally having the pea water scared out of you. I heartily quaffed a few more glasses of Dom or Moët and Chandon, or whatever expensive libation was being toted around on silver trays by the rather glum-looking staff. I had to steel my nerves, after such a frightening and harrowing experience. I could have soiled my trousers in front of my peers and co-workers, after all. While comforting myself, I began to have doubts about what I had experienced. It was after midnight. The bistro was staying open late just for us, as my employer was well in his cups and had promised everyone working over at the restaurant a huge tip. And I decided to have another go at the stairs out in the lobby. Good thing I wasn't drinking tequila, I suppose. I strode out into the lobby, leaving the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses behind. As soon as the door closed, however, the theater lobby was silent as a tomb. I began creeping my way over to the stairs. There was a dim light in the theater, but after the first step or so, the stairs were still as dark as a dungeon. I slowly mounted the stairs, taking them slowly one at a time. As I gingerly placed both feet on the third or fourth step, I heard voices. I stood, frozen, and tried to figure out where the voices were coming from. I looked up the darkened stairway and realized, thankfully, that it wasn't from up there. I backed down the stairs and began retracing my steps, still hearing voices just out of earshot. I could hear them talking, but not really plain enough to know what was being said. There was one male voice and one female voice. I suddenly realized that the voices were coming through the doors to my right, which would be the doors that led into the main seating area of the ground floor. The voices were a bit clearer, although I could still only pick out bits and pieces of what was being said. The more I listened, the more it became evident that the persons in question were rehearsing a play, as I heard what sounded like some of the same phrases, bits of dialogue, being repeated. Relieved but curious, I stealthily grabbed one of the massive door handles to peer in on the practicing thespians. I still heard the voices while my hand was on the door handle, but as I silently eased the door open a crack, the voices abruptly stopped. I found myself peering into a totally darkened theater. There was no rehearsal. There was no longer any voices. Once again, I beat a hasty retreat into the bistro. This time I stayed put until it was time for my ride to take me home. There's more to that, but I'll leave it right there if you want to. The rest of it, it's in this book right here. There's just a little bit more, but that was the gist of it. But it's a creepy place.
That was banging, Steve.
And I heard what sounded like people practicing a play because they were trading dialogue back and forth. And then the minute I cracked that door open, it just stopped.
I had to laugh when you said relieved, All I could think of yourself was when you went out there and peed. You stripped that in there
I
on
had to
purpose,
go,
didn't
and
you, old codger?
there was a big party also in there, and I couldn't get to the bathroom without
That's
putting
funny.
my butt in somebody's face or rubbing it across their back. So I just went out and peed. I was gonna, but and I told that later on. When you come out those doors, the bathroom is right there by the stairs. I don't know how I missed it in the dark,
Uh,
but I knew there was a
but you,
bathroom up
but
on
you
the
said in your
mezzanine.
story that
So
you left relieved, and I just thought that was cute
yeah,
as a
I
bug.
was
I know you
really.
slid that in there. I'm like,
That was
yeah.
in the 80s. I don't drink anymore. I haven't had a drink in, gosh, it's
I'll
been
tell you
years.
what.
The thing I had was a half a pint of Guinness. I was
There's been
making sure
times.
that stew, it called for a half pint. You could only buy a half can. So a half a
That was
pint
great.
went, and the other half
Thank you for
went.
doing that.
There's kids in Ireland going to bed sober, but
Ugh.
just never got the taste for alcohol.
I
Really,
know, man. We need to adopt one. Maybe we'll get another we'll get another picture. We'll see what kind of pictures we get from the kids we adopt in there and send them whiskey. I
maybe
don't
they
know.
send
Is
you
there
a
anything
video
like
now.
that? I
If
never understood why
you'd like a
Sally
signed
Struthers
copy
couldn't
of
just make that kid a sandwich. What the
these
hell was wrong with her?
help
I'm
me get
sorry.
to New England.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where can we get those, Steve?
My Etsy, Nicole and I have an Etsy store.
There you
It's
go. There you go.
13 Past Midnight Society Books. It's
I
also
don't have that
Steve
updated
Stockton
yet.
Books. It's if Kathita or Nicole, if you drop a
There you
link
go.
to my link tree, that'll get you to everything that I do.
Yep. Yep. And we're up to about, we thank you so much. We're at 1810 plus. I think it was 1820 or 30, maybe even 40. I'm not sure. Somebody to check on that. But so sub if you haven't. Sub. I mean, what's it going to hurt? Hit the button. Hit the button. You can unsub later if you regret it. You can hit the bell for notifications because we love you. YT, we love the old YT, but they will cut subs. They'll change mods. They'll do all kinds of shenanigans and chicanery. And there you go. Are you gonna put a tree up? Tree of life.
I'm gonna put my link tree here. Let me.
Steve's tree of life.
I'll get that light too green. I'm not really that green. That's that light up there.
The relieved Steve.
I changed it. Hey, where we go?
There you go. We lost me. The music was nice too. I thought.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Wasn't that nice? That was like we spare no.
Spare no expense.
So throw down a super chat. Everybody gave $1.
Quality production.
Just saying. And it goes right to StreamYard. It goes right to, put my button in the chair to make these, videos and stuff. I mean, it makes it justified. It gives me a reason to say, look, I'm working. You know what I mean? Seriously. Because as long as if it evens out and it pays for
here's
itself,
my link tree.
The joy in doing it is enough.
You can subscribe to that. It doesn't cost anything. And every time I update something or do something different, you will be notified.
Update for Steve. There you go.
But it's got a link to my signed books, the podcast version of ATM, some other swag.
Who's throwing that link? Is it the mods?
Insomniac Radio Theater's in there. 13 Past Midnight. My books on Amazon. True Crime Breakdown, and then another channel that I gave Nicole called Saucer Cult. I don't know what she's going to do with that yet, but we're figuring it out. But she's got 3,300 something subscribers right out of the gate.
Jumping New Mexican jumping beans over there, aren't you? And here I have to say this. This is a little what do they call it? Kitchen. I had doing the dishes, housework, something that they usually say we have to do this for the show.
A little
bird told me. There we go. I knew it had something to do with it. Anyhow, little bird told me that last night while I was yammering on and wasn't paying attention, because sometimes if I try to read the chat, talk at the same time, that's why I jump all over the place, because I'm trying to see what's going on. My train just jumps tracks like one of those like there's like a little switch guy that pulls a lever in my train, and that's it. And I might catch it back again. I might not. I don't always circle back around, not like some other people. But Little Bird told me that last night my mods were feverishly in the background, very much like the Sparta 300, probably with those shields, those metal trash can shields we were talking about earlier, Steve. That's a possibility. But they fight in a different way. If you mess up, and I'm just saying, free speech and all that. But if you're causing if you're one of those porn bots, or if you're one of these, dial M for, mischief, or one of those bots, whatever it may be, these mods will whip you up a dozen of these suckers right here.
And I know what it is. I don't even have to look.
It's
not the cupcakes.
They come swift and fast. And,
Thank you,
before
Vixen Doe, for donating to Cisco there. We
what
appreciate
hits you, it's going to be coming at you. And, that's the end of that. So I think you get warned. I'm not really sure. They'll come up and they'll do one of these like, hey, yo, what did you mean by that? Could you word it a different way? We don't argue here. We don't throw, people can worship a house plant if they want to in here, as long as they're not hurting anybody. If they can disagree with me, I disagree with me daily.
I disagree with me daily. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
I mean, honestly, I constantly fight and I often lose. Sometimes I'm not sure. Sometimes
I tell you who I fight more than anything is autocorrupt, also known as autocorrect. It makes me a fool so many times.
My phone.
And then when it's actually, I do misspell something, it looks the other way.
It couldn't stand.
But then it loves to try and replace something with another word to change the entire thing of everything.
This is nothing, but I have to clean out this stuff. I've got so many gifts in here for you guys, but some of them are just so damn cute. This is one of my all-time favorites. I remember seeing this when I was a kid. It has to do with old movies and theaters. So this is adorable. This is iconic right here. Is it not?
That is.
Is that not iconic?
So is that Glenn Strange or is that Boris Karloff? I can't see.
Karloff. That's Karloff. Okay.
I can't see
that's just face. That is a little clip out of that movie. I remember seeing that scene when I was a kid, and I never forgot it. I thought it was like, because doesn't he like rip her head off right after that or something?
Something like that. Throws in the water. I don't remember. He kills
but I got I got to get rid of some. This is another one of my favorites. I love this guy. It's just, I love that guy. Isn't he great? This was kind of cute.
I've lost love my that way one too. It's like, here. What? Let me get back in.
That happened. This is me on the daily too. Usually it works. I guarantee you this is actual footage of me at work. But I don't wear the hat or the tie. I used to. I've had jobs where I've had to. But anyhow, of the time where my coworker said, and I quote, almost verbatim, I keep my vodka in a water bottle. Wait for it. When I drive, because it has a screw top and I don't want to get caught with an open container.
Yeah, there you go. Is that the way it works?
End fucking quote. And that was me. I went, excuse me, what? That was me. That
was a good one. I'm going to step away again. I'm pounding the coffee down here and it's wanting to escape.
All right, honey. So I'm going to play the rest of this and talk to them, and then we got one more ghost story, and we're out of here. Okay.
All right. And I wanted to ask you. I didn't. I don't know if you covered it on the other night or not.
Right.
But the one where there was a hotel fire, I think it was the Orpheum in Memphis, and there was a little girl whose body was found, and nobody ever claimed her. She was never identified. That's one of the saddest stories ever. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I do remember. Dude, I don't.
Somewhere somebody was missing. I think it's in the Orpheum in Memphis, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see.
It is, Pam. I'm telling you. The adventure is watching me keep a hold of my monster.
No.
Because I wear headphones. And I listen to podcasts, I listen to authors, I listen to audiobooks, I'm constantly learning. I listen to true crime. I'm sitting there. I swear to you, this is true. The whole time I'm doing Lizzie Borden, and listen, I know you guys know what goes into that and the time it goes into that. I studied that. The Lizzie Borden case. I read letters and documents and police interviews and historians' accounts and people that own pieces of the curtain and, their story and the provenance to that. And, oh man, thank you so much. I'm so sorry if I don't catch these, like I said, when they pop up, because if I'm watching the chat, I'm distracted as heck because you guys say the most interesting things. But thank you so much, Vixen. Just because I could. Thank you so much. So there. Raspberries, right? Thank you, darling. Goes right to the show. Thank you so much. You guys are just keeping us on the air and keeping us together and all that. Holy crap. For what, Ted? I know, right? I can't remember what that's for, but I'm sure that was absolutely justified and fair. Holy crap. I say that all day too. But anyway, was it the vodka? Yeah, it actually happened. Now, I'm not making fun of her, but the girl was so sincere, and that makes it just a little more sad, doesn't it? Oh, Kathleen, thank you very much for that super sticker. We love you, honey. But, and again, thank you, mods, for keeping an eye on the chat when I can't. I appreciate that very much. I don't want to miss a good question, even if you guys got to throw it up, copy paste it like 3 times till you get me. Half of you got my DM, go ahead and DM me or something like that. I'll see something flashing. Okay. So, was I talking about something and got knocked off? Are we good? Did I catch up? Did I circle back? Was I supposed to finish something I didn't finish? Or are we good? I can't remember anymore. All right. Jaws. Oh, so anyway, Lizzie Borden, that reminded me. See? I'm back. So while I'm doing the Lizzie Borden, I want to say, honestly, between the books I read, the authors I listened to, the research, everything else, if I can't read or whatever, I can listen to a podcast, listen to somebody talk about it, an author wrote a book, and just sorting, right? So I'm at work the whole time, weeks, and I'm listening to this. And they know I'm listening to Axe Murders. And I'm like, every once in a while, I go, oh, damn, or something like that. I'm like, oh. And somebody will go, what? And I'm like, oh, you don't want to know. I mean, some of this stuff is brutal. I mean, think about it, or the Willisco or whatever. And I'll come around the corner because I've got to cut up the styrofoam. I got the Oasis, which is what you put fresh flowers in. That's what you call it. It's just wet foam, whatever. So you have to cut it and, so I'll come around with the knife and I hold it down deliberately. And I always hold it like this because I want it to be point down. So somebody comes around the corner. It's like, wow, whoops, bad. Because you're zipping through there. It's like a restaurant, in the kitchen. And your plates and salads and, ramekins and whatever, extra plates and where's my damn appetizers and all that kind of shit. I once got a whole pot of fresh coffee from a manager coming in the wrong door, the wrong way, not watching where he was going, talking over his shoulder, yelling back, and came through gangbusters, all like 300 something pounds of him, and hit me. Because I always walk with coffee like this, hit me, bumped into me, and the coffee went up once and came back down again. Fresh pot of hot coffee at Red Lobster, Huntsville, Alabama. I dropped the pot, went straight to the bar and stuck my face in the ice bin. And then they took me to the hospital. Luckily, I was wearing some really a lot of eyeshadow, which probably saved my eyes, and I closed them. But man, wow, right? So anyway, I learned. So I'm walking with the knife like this, and I'm coming around the corner, and everybody's kind of like, it's like, it's all right. I'm not going to hurt anybody, Well, you're listening to that true crime stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but it hasn't gone to my head, really. It's okay. You can trust me, But yeah, that really happened, baby. That awful hot, fresh coffee too. And he was a cool manager. Everybody makes mistakes, but it was something else. So anyway, I digress. They jump at work sometimes. Sometimes I just have to go outside and smoke a cigarette and not say anything. Just gray man it, just head down, make beautiful things, get the hell out. Work on a podcast, have to read a book, research, whatever. But this part's fun. This is the most fun I've had all week. Looking forward to coming here and seeing you guys. And what are we going to come up with in chat? What are we going to learn? Remind me, I got to ask Steve. If you're listening, were we talking about Ted Kaczynski last Monday? I know I was talking to somebody about it. I can't remember if it was on the show. I know I was talking probably at the time he passed. I kid you not. I was talking to one of the people I work with. And they came up and asked me a question about like stuff that's going on, behind the scenes, if let's just put it that way, globally, whatever. And I was trying to explain MK Ultra, and all of a sudden his name popped into my head. And I said, well, here's a good example. I said, Ted Kaczynski. I said he went to an Ivy League college. I think it was Harvard, but don't quote me on that. It could have been Yale. Always, like, at this point, who cares, right? We're all the same. Anyway, the professors there were doing a lot of scientific experiments and picked on his personality. He was a genius. He was very young going to this college. I cannot remember the age, but it was very young that he got in there on his own merit. I mean, he was a savant and like an Einstein. So they picked up on his personality and decided that they were going to try to bake his noodle, right? So they're doing early MK Ultra. They're screwing with his head. They're giving him shock treatments. They're doing all this kind of what's a movie, Clockwork Orange kind of stuff on him with, I don't know if they dropped acid in his eyes, but it's possible. There's a lot of stuff out on this. Believe me, they could tell a lot better than I can. But they screwed with this guy's head. And in my book, they're just as responsible for everything and all the crap he caused. They are, the mothers and fathers of that crap. Just like, parents who beat their child and snap them and, push them over the edge and they go off and do something. I mean, you've got some comeuppance there, I would believe, And I think in a small way, that's probably what life is like if you think about it. I know that sounds really weird, but bear with me here. Everything we do has ripples and consequences. And I think sometimes if we figure, okay, why not? Roll the dice. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then nothing happens. But if I'm right, then I might have saved myself some trouble if I consider that before you do something. I can't tell you how many times that stopped me, whether it be at work or otherwise. It's like, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? Do I need to do this? Does it matter? What's going to come from it? We can't always do that. But I think that too goes back to the beginning of this show. We were talking about keeping that monster. Sometimes we got to grab it by the tail, get back in here. Kind of like a dog trying to get out of the car, Probably only trying to protect you and probably only trying to do its thing. But, sometimes it's, you got to hold them. Like Dave held Rage in that circle in Cabin 22. You know what I mean? Not yet. Hold on. You'll get your turn. Got to save it for when it counts, right? Be smart. You know what I mean? So, it's in every movie. Look at all these movies. How many plays are about people that, had to overcome adversity? And had to pull out and become the hero, right, Steve?
Yep.
And all of us have had to do it in some small way or another.
I liked your show last night. I want to know if you've ever seen this.
Oh, it's no, I have not.
The complete collection. Look at that.
You lucky
144 episodes. You believe that? It's got every single one of them on there.
That's amazing. That one we showed last night was February 11th, 1978. Can you believe that, Steve? I think back to where I was then. That was my
jam back in the day.
I was in high school.
See how many discs.
I was in high school causing all kinds of trouble.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Lord God Almighty. Some I got caught for, some I
don't know about in your area, but In Search of was on PBS back
I can't remember, dude. I can't remember.
Season 5, season
I got a couple more. Oh, look at this one, Steve. Look up. Look at that. Look at that poster.
I can't see it. I'll have to look over here on the other.
Has it caught up over there yet?
Now it has. The birds. Nicole, Midnight Society and I watched that the other night on our date night.
I thought you had.
I wanted to
show this is the original poster first released and ever put up on. I try to get the originals for the playbills and for the movie posters that were in these theaters.
I don't know. It's on a bunch of discs, but it's the entire
That's
run
amazing,
of the show.
Steve.
One of my prized possessions right there.
I got all 5 seasons of Deadwood.
Yeah.
Is that do anything for you?
I think somewhere I still have those on DVD or Blu-ray.
I think it's 5 seasons, wasn't it, guys?
I think so, and they just kind of left it.
If there might have been, there might have been a 6th one, but if it was like kind of crappy,
yeah, they were supposed to come back and tie everything up with a movie, but they never did.
Mm.
But yeah, I used to.
You know what? That's true. But were we talking about Ted Kaczynski? Because
I don't know.
They screwed with him bad, man. That's just.
Yeah,
I'm not, condoning what he did, but how many of those people have we made? How many monsters have we made? Our ways and our culture, and around the world, whatever that culture or ways may be. How many people have we had just been left alone to the natural way of things without being messed with by, trauma and drama and violence and misuse and abuse and even verbal, and just seeing how different they may have been. How many people just had they were just born evil and were going to be chemically imbalanced or otherwise. How many psychopaths slip through the cracks? I'll tell you, it's a fine line between a serial killer and somebody like a therapist. Think about it. In some cases, or pick any kind of a label. There's a fine line, like that comment you got tonight, Steve. Yeah. There's a fine line you walk, and it's all about controlling that monster. And you can feel it growling, and you go, "Yeah, I know, hon. Hey, not yet. Hold on. It's glad you're there." Because sometimes you need that warrior. We were talking last night about reincarnation. Yeah. Leonard was telling. Did you know that Hans Holzer, dude, wrote that? He wrote it and produced In Search of. Is his name on the back of that box? Maybe it was just that one episode. Maybe
certain episodes. I don't know.
Maybe it was just that because he was big into reincarnation. He was very big into the mind. I'm gonna look up. Hold. I want to look up because last night I was trying to remember how many books Hans Holzer. We need to get that music back, Steve, for when we're looking up facts.
Yeah,
because we can't
Jeopardy music.
We got it. We got to do.
If you haven't subscribed to Insomniac Radio Theater, please do. We're only 80 something away, so over there. So thank you.
There it is. Let me make it big. Hold on. My camera, I can't. My screen is so big. I'm here to tell you. So it's a lot of screen. Can you see? So bright. God, yeah. StreamYard, please. If you're listening, we would like to have dark mode, please.
I'd have a dark mode. I get glare all the time on my glasses. You got it on your glasses.
You can do it. I can't. Anyway, that was Hans Holzer. Aren't you glad I went and did that? But 120 books, over 120 books on the supernatural occult subjects for the popular market, as well as several plays, musicals, films, and documentaries, and hosted a television show, Ghost Hunter, not to be confused with the Ghost Hunters. Where's this show, Ghost Hunter? That Hans Holzer television show.
And who's the guy? Darkness on the Edge of Town. Dave Schrader. He's doing a thing called the Holzer Files.
Yep.
Where they're taking some of those cases and going back and having a second look.
Binge watch it 3 times because it was very cool to listen back to. They had the tapes of Ethel Myers, Sybil Leek, a couple of other ones I don't know off the top of my head. That mediums that he might only used once, like such as in that one up in Connecticut, that we watched it on In Search Of, where he was talking to the all I remember the ghost kept saying Kitty Bunk. She wanted to go back to Kitty Bunk, the town, because she did. What it was her husband on the ship, captain, whatever. He leaves. He was a big deal, and got a big house in the town. And the ship takes off, and he doesn't come back. And she dies, gets sick, and dies. She's so sad. All ghost stories are sad because somebody's died because they're ghosts. So she's in the house still. She tried to keep a little farm. She had goats because she was complaining about goats and some other kind, and probably had chickens. Who knows? Anyhow, that's a lot for one person to, dusk till dawn to handle, trying to keep up appearances. And I think she was more used to living in the city, which is what this Kitty Bunk was. She kept talking about she wanted to go back to Kitty Bunk. She had too many chores and responsibilities, and the pressure was too much, and she wished he'd just get back so that she could just go. And I can't imagine 100 years of that. She would appear to these gosh, I still remember those the women who experienced that. I've seen that damn episode so many times over 50 years that
I don't think this has an episode.
It was the story. It was the story where the lady was in bed, and this woman appears, this Kitty Bunk woman appears at the bedside, and they're acting it out. God bless their hearts. They're acting this out for Hans Holzler and Leonard Nimoy and the camera crew, and it's a big deal. This is early 70s. They're doing this, and and they're acting it out. She said, "I yelled for her. I said, Maggie." Yeah, and she didn't answer. So I said it again. I said, Maggie. Did it 4 times.
Yeah, this doesn't have an episode list or something. It just says
absolutely priceless.
Lost civilizations, extraterrestrials missing, monsters, missing persons, magic and witchcraft, unexplained phenomena.
I love each and every one of them.
But
absolutely.
Total runtime 3,228 minutes. So.
2 scoops with freaking sprinkles. Look at this one. That one's just in your face modern, just the York. I love this picture. Duffy's Tavern. I'd like to be at Duffy's right now. There's your Phantom of the Opera. I'm jealous, Steve. Record those.
Just don't go see it in Vegas. You only get half the show.
Bootleg those for me. Send
that looks like the
like one at a time.
The Twilight Dine-In Drive-In at MGM Studios in Florida.
Is that it? Because wait a minute, let me get it back. Where did it go? Dang,
you go in there and you eat. And there's the wait staff are on roller skates, and they have clips from all those monster movies and stuff playing. The Dine-In Drive-In.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
I love this. This is almost like the Pulp Fiction thing.
Yeah,
where they were
that's in the
57 Chevys and stuff.
I want to say it used to be Disney MGM Studios. I don't know. I think it's changed hands or something now, but it's in Florida in that complex. Yeah.
All the time. In and out. Some just.
Now there may be a version in California too, but that's what it is. Yep. You go in there, it looks like you're sitting in the cars in the drive-in, and they serve you food, and it's just like the trailers of the movies. They don't actually show any movies.
Well, damn well they got a $15 shake.
Yeah, they do. There's an expensive milkshake.
Probably more than that.
They've got ones with alcohol and stuff in them there. It's used to you didn't have any alcohol in the Magic Kingdom and stuff, but that's changed. And that was when I was there in the early 2000s.
That's an old one. Look at that. When something was going on at the theater, and these folks were in town right here. Is that a child or a monkey wearing a tuxedo? I can't tell. I think it could be a child.
Looks like it might be.
Looks like a young Asian man.
Might be Tom Thumb.
That's what I'm thinking. Like maybe
or something like that.
A young little
moving picture theater.
A little midget.
Let's see.
We like to say midget. Oh shit! YouTube's gonna cut us off for sure now. What's the proper?
That's what it said on the lawsuit. That's from
smaller.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
So
Don't say
bite-size.
midget.
Can we say bite-size?
Don't say midget. The proper nomenclature is little person.
Bite-size is
Mr. Carlson said it said midget in the lawsuit.
Les Mis. My nephew just played the lead in that. Did a bang-up job.
The Glen Theater, that's in Watkins Glen, New York, or it might be the Glen Ellen
there it is,
Theater
300.
in Glen Ellen, Illinois. This
I
is
got to tell you
Sparta.
something. This is Sparta. Now listen, that's right there. If you see me doing something like that, monster got loose. Yeah. Just saying. But I've done shit. So anyway, this blew my mind because I was listening to a guy talk about this because there's like some stuff going on, if you could imagine, where this could parallel, or certain parts of this movie could parallel. And they were talking about it, and I'm listening to it, and they said one of the quotes. Last week, I know we pulled out some quotes, or the week before, that from Jaws that were just ad-libbed. This is different. This actually, historically, one of the best lines from this. So, do you remember? I can't remember the names of everybody, so forgive me. I'm going to butcher it if I try. But there's a moment in this that actual historically accurate, supposedly. I wasn't there. Where they're all bunched up and they're about to battle. And the Persians say, we will darken the skies with, thousands of arrows. I don't know the quote exactly. And the other dude looks right at him and says, what? Then we will fight in the shade. That's how I want you to feel. All the time. But outside, you're just bright light and trying to do your best. Because you know why? I think by doing little things like that, even secret things like Laura sending this to me as a surprise, to remind me of a loss of a friend, and that she was a friend and she was out there and that she cared. And just, find something that does that for you, because it balances it. Right, Steve?
Yep.
But you've got to almost like always be ready to, then I'll fight in the shade. You know what I mean? Especially in this subject, especially when you're dealing with some of the stuff that Steve tried to help people in the chat understand, that maybe you weren't privy to the information. Maybe the people you were talking to didn't know themselves. Is it possible anybody on this earth knows anything you might not know? And why would somebody try to spend time to explain to you that they know this with their entire fucking being? And they're trying to keep you from getting yourself killed, or wishing you were probably killed or dead, because you've got yourself in such a mess. Listen to me. Some of these things not to play with. How many stories have you seen where one pops up into my mind? Perfect example. Dudes at a bar, whatever, a woman comes up, everything's great, buying drinks, we're chit-chatting, we got a little grabby under the table, great night, hot and heavy, start dating. She's kind of clingy and pushy, but he's like, hey, she's hot, so sound familiar? Before you know it, she's a left-hander. He's getting a little scared. He's starting to back off. She's getting mad. She starts turning on the juice. She puts a curse on him. And now he's like losing it. He's calling people, giving them, oh my gosh, this is happening. He's just slowly but surely circling the drain. Steve and I both know exactly what that means. I mean, he's circling that drain. He's not even realizing it till he's like 2/3 of the way down. That's how it happens. And this guy, they found him dead in his bathtub. He had stuff all over the place with religious things and candles. And you could see he was scared. And he was in one of those claw-footed bathtubs, all curled up with a blanket, just fear frozen on his face.
Are we talking about Danny Casolaro, or are we talking about somebody else here?
Is that him? Is that his name?
The one that was
Died in his bathtub.
investigating what he called the octopus, the tentacles of things that reach out everywhere. And
No, he picked up a witch in a bar, and he got.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he got
it's a
foobarred.
different story, but
Yeah, and
he got foobarred.
He kept giving her permissions, though. I mean, this one knew what they were doing. You know, this was more almost on like a demonic level. Not that it was. I'm just saying it was on kind of that evil level of the psychopathic, methodical spinning of the web. That whole, you know what I mean? That slow drawing you into that web before you know it. You know, you done got bit and you're starting to go numb and you're saying, oh shit, it's a little late for that, you know? And that's what happened to him. And you know what? It happens to people, man. It really does. Depending on what you're talking about and what you're doing. I mean, some of that, in some cultures, they just screw you up so much you do it to yourself. And some it's done to you. You know? It's incredible the amount of talent and energy and stuff flying around in these buildings, Steve. You know what I mean? And the years upon years of it. I think it's a definite factor in the whole haunting, making it much easier. Because even the concessions girl, look, they're all in. These candy bars are 4 times the size of what you have now.
They used to sell the theater-sized bar, like a shared bar, like do you remember when they had the old the Hershey bars and stuff that were like huge?
Huge.
Now
you can see them at her table.
The biggest ones are that big.
We're going back. Where was that young lady? Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Romeo and Juliet. Of course, this is from the movie, but it's very well done. Now, there's our lobbies now. Let's take you back. There it is. Look at the size of look at the candy. Look how proud they are. Ice cold Coca-Cola. Now they just like, get your own damn ice. Do you know what I mean? And here she is all dressed up. This meant something. She's showing up for work. She's proud of, got her hair done. The refreshment bar. Look how proud they are of this candy. Look at that. Now, this next one you're actually going to get to see. Maybe not, this was a little far away. But look at that staircase. Holy mackerel. She was great, Agnes Moorehead. I think that's Hamlet. Here's one. Look at this young lady enjoying something. We got those bobby socks on and little kerchief. Look at that. Somebody's paying a lot for that crew. Look at that. That's a lot of kids. She's looking at her purse. I don't know. I don't have that many nickels. Look at her. That popcorn, probably fresh. Probably real butter, Steve. None of this soybean oil mess. Look at how proud he is.
Butter flavored nuclear grease that they put on it nowadays.
Yep. Look at this. Look at him. He showed up for work that day. Look at him. Proud as hell. Look at the size of those candy bars, Steve. You see the size of that candy bar?
Look at that.
See the size of that chicken?
And remember Jordan almonds that they used to have at the theater, the candy-coated almonds? I love those things.
Yes, I do.
And they would have hot cashews, too.
Look at there. Candy.
You could get
nickel.
Get a scoop of hot cashews or hot peanuts in a little paper bag.
Hot peanuts.
Love those hot cashews.
Yep. Look at there, Steve. Candy. A nickel. Look at the size of those
candy I think bars. You got the munchies, Cisco. You keep looking at that candy. Look at that candy bar.
I remember when candy bars were that big.
Yeah, they have the huge ones at the theater. They're like $1 because the normal ones were like 15 cents or something. But for $1, you could get one that was this big and like that thick.
Yep.
Break those big chunks off.
They had coffee.
I
had to throw a London one in there at the Apollo.
Yeah.
Look at her. She showed up. Look at that crowd. Look at that. Yep, that's when I saw that. You'd think that maybe it's possible that there's just two co-workers. That's a mom and her daughter. This girl right here got drugged to that place. That you're going with me. You're going to help me. Look at her. Made her do her hair the
Cracker
same and
Jacks.
everything.
And that was back when Cracker Jacks actually had a prize inside of them instead of a little sticker or paper
Yep.
bullshit.
I remember getting paint sets in there. Not big ones. They were little cardboard brushes and stuff. It's crazy. You add water to the paint. You could actually and coloring book, little coloring book pictures.
No.
Now you're never going to get that
little
paint in
puzzle
there,
books, little like pinball machines or little
Whistles.
things where you had to take the ball around through the maze. There was some amazing little toys in Cracker Jacks.
And had a little thing you pull back, snap. Had tiniest little spring.
Tiny little pinball.
I guarantee you that damn spring was made in the USA.
Yeah.
That time, the 60s and 70s, guarantee it. It was a whole factory. Probably had 500 workers feeding families. It looked just like this right here.
There was little books. There was joke books and cartoon books.
There was. Yep.
Tattoos. You could get a whole pack of tattoos.
Yep. That's true. I forgot about the tattoos. The St. James.
Lick 'em and stick 'em.
The producers. The Thing. Look at that. Morocco. The staircases get me. You know? Look at that. The toll booth. How many people? How many hands? How many dates? How many fathers passing out? Having to pay for all the kids and the family, the popcorn? How much does it cost now to go to a movie?
It's a fortune, I'm sure. I haven't been in years.
Jeez. How much? How much does a movie cost where you live now, guys?
Last one I saw was in the theater was Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. And so whatever year that came out, like 2012, 20 something, I don't know. It's been a while.
Wow.
An important.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Went by myself. I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. I wanted to see that movie on opening night, and I did.
Oh.
And I snuck in a deli sandwich. Jack Kilowatt says family of 5 with snacks is about $100. You believe that? You could have bought out the theater for $100 back in the day.
I guarantee if
you could afford all the theater for $100 back then.
I'll say it's to get 4 people in a theater in New Jersey is probably close to. It's got to be $80, easy, close to it, and that's not including popcorn. Popcorn and a Coke will probably cost you
$20, yeah. Like probably.
Look at how gorgeous she
was. $12 for the popcorn and $8 for the Coke.
Oh yeah.
But they will give you a refill, one refill on the tub of popcorn.
Yeah, you know, I'll go get it too, and I'll give it to the birds. I don't give a shit. So I'll go to waste if I paid for it.
I never did do it, but you'd see other kids come in the theater looking at popcorn buckets, trying to find one that didn't have the mark on the bottom, because that was a free bucket.
They marked the bottom?
Yeah, when they refilled it, they put an X on the bottom, so you could only get one refill. But little kids would come in early while they were still cleaning out from the last show, and you'd see them walking around looking at the bottom of popcorn buckets. And sometimes they'd get 3 or 4, pass them out to their friends. And that was, it was just somebody else's refill. But if you didn't mind eating out of the bucket that somebody else had, you could get free popcorn. I never did it, but there's a Sydney Opera House.
You remember when you'd go walking, your feet would stick to the floor?
Yeah. And I was in the Terrace Tap House one time. So those terraced theaters that showed like second or third run movies, but they had pizza, they had nachos, they had beer with a pitcher and stuff. And somebody had spilled something all over the floor, and this guy's wife fell down and got out. I mean, she was filthy. Whatever was in the floor.
Oh my God.
It was like nacho cheese and candy and butter and beer. And she got up and she was just raising hell. And the manager said, well, then we'll pay to have your clothes cleaned. But she wanted more compensation. And I don't know what happened with it.
That's I saw you said about the pizza and all that stuff. I remember when they took one theater, it was in Huntsville, Alabama, and they took it, made it a $1 theater. So $1 piece to get in. And I saw Big Trouble in Little China. And they had a bar You could order drinks, pizza, nachos, that kind of thing. It was very cool. I think I saw that, and I saw one other one that was
trying to
it.
think of the last thing I saw at the Dollar Tree or
That
the
was a long
Dollar
time
Theater.
ago,
That
though.
was a
Big
long
Trouble
time
Little
ago.
China.
I saw Pet Cemetery at the Dollar Theater, and that was when it was still $1. After that,
The
it went
first one or the second one?
the first one, the
Yeah,
original, with Fred
that was
Gwynn.
good with Fred Gwynn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh God, people don't realize how prolific he was. What he
he
did,
was
all the
versatile.
radio
He could,
shows, the
yeah, he just
voiceovers,
had
the
that voice.
commercials,
He was iconic.
the stories. Oh my gosh, he was like, you know, your voice is everywhere, and it's funny because you can hear. I don't know if you guys pick up voices like I do. I don't. I just done it all my life, but you can hear it. You know, and I'm like, man, is that who's doing the Home Depot commercial? That sounds like Martin Sheen. Do you guys do that? It's
Yeah.
like, you know, yep. All right, we got one last quick ghost story here, and I saved, well, not the best for last. There's so many more, and I guarantee, Steve, when we get into, you know, around Nevada, Las Vegas, I mean, you know, casinos or theaters, you know, there's the thing that gets me though, each one that you saw tonight, you know, just the facades of them are stories, and they tell you the insides and the ceilings and to the seats, to the velvet covered seats or whatever it is. You know that the years of people going in there, the stories, the stars that never were, the ones that never got picked, the ones that got the chance and maybe got sick or messed it up or got stage fright or finally got their dream and couldn't do it. Can you imagine the devastation there? The amount of people that, you know, and have passed in there under those conditions, let alone accidents or fires or accidents out front. Look at Dillinger. Look at all these different people that are haunting the theaters because they died outside in a car accident or whatever and are drawn to that energy. So, you know, think about that next time you go to a theater. Think about that next time you go to even anything where a lot of people are gathered. I don't think it affects us as much in the store, like a Walmart or Kroger or grocery, because it's all erratic and all over the place. But when a group of people get together and they're focused on one thing, the thing that they're focused on and how they're feeling and what it's doing to them and the energy that it's putting into them and they're filtering through and putting back out, I think that's important. And I think that's one of the reasons so many of these theaters and the nostalgia and the draw to it in life is the same as the draw to it for them in death. Do you agree with that at all, Steve? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
before we watch
I
this?
do. I totally agree.
There you go. Sad. We're just like one mind, right?
Yep.
So this is the last one. Where
All,
could we possibly be
all
going
connected.
to close this one
Looks
off?
like we're going to Tejas.
Could be, maybe. I don't know. They're all over. I love these little town theaters, though, the little ones that are tucked in.
Plot twist, we're going to Nebraska.
Oh, could be. Oh, we're going to Broadway. I hear the
It's been a staple of New York since the early
so
1900s.
Here we go.
Plenty of those involved in theaters have passed, but apparently some have not moved on.
This was kind
I
of
met
fun.
up with Tim Dolan from Broadway Up Close.
Oh, there goes
After
my
our rendition from The Lion King, I was ready to head out on his most popular attraction of the season, the Ghost Light Tour.
All right, I'm ready, big fella. All right, let's do it. Come on.
It's a little quick little of a couple of them.
Why are people fascinated by ghost stories?
I mean, I think the thing about ghost stories is it real or not?
Our first stop, the Belasco. David Belasco opened theater in 1907, writing, directing, and producing more than 100 plays.
Looking at the front of the building, there's this entire 10-room duplex apartment, and he literally moved into the building in 1910. And so initially, right after he dies, it was every opening night was when they first see him. And he would appear in this one spot in the balcony, and hold onto this railing, sit in the seat, and then gone. And there's been sightings of him in the apartment, even though the apartment's been vacant since 1931.
And just 15 years ago, the elevator that ran up to Belasco's apartment was rumbling. When crews went to dismantle it, they realized it hadn't been connected for years.
They said you could hear it moving through.
When it was disconnected.
That's creepy. Time to head to the Lyric Theater.
The Lyric Theater historically is crazy, but also has a really interesting disappearance story, which with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child playing here, it really couldn't be better.
Clive Fitch was a famous playwright. Died in 1908 from blood poisoning. His last play, The City, was performed right here at the Lyric.
Was the end of the show. Rapturous applause. The entire cast takes a bow.
This is it. This is it. This is the story. Check this out. This is going to blow your mind. I'm so glad I caught this. They all get mixed up. I'm going to start it right here again. Listen very carefully. This is amazing. There he is. Bless his heart. Look at him. He showed up to work that day too, didn't he? All right, here we go.
1908 from blood poisoning. His last play, The City, was performed right here at the Lyric.
Was the end of the show. Rapturous applause. The entire cast takes a bow. And then in the middle of the group on stage, out walks Clyde Fitch, who's been dead for 3.5 months. And in front of 1,100 people, he puts his arm up, takes a bow, steps one step back, and disappears. They say, specifically in Broadway history, it's one of the most, the largest corroborated mass sightings of a person known to be dead in a public space.
The New Amsterdam.
You see that? I tell you the truth, right? I had that pretty much nailed, didn't I? Yeah, yep. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing that many people saw that.
Seems to have a permanent resident as well. We met up with Dana Amandella, who has been with the theater for over 20 years.
Where did this feeling that this theater is haunted come from?
Dana told us the story from 1997 when a night guard was on duty.
He feels a presence behind him. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so he kind of looks over his shoulder. And he sees a woman in a green beaded gown with a green tight headdress walk from one side of the stage to the other, turn, blow him a kiss, and walk through the wall out to 41st Street.
It is believed to be the ghost of Olive Thomas, a Ziegfeld girl who died an untimely death in 1920.
People have encountered her every now and then, usually when something changes in the theater, like a new show comes in or something. When something's disrupted, that's when they usually will see her. And that's why at this building, every entrance and exit we have, there's a photograph of Olive Thomas.
Good for her.
Kind of blow her a kiss and say goodbye before they leave.
We also heard that Olive only appears to men.
She's very flirtatious. So the women staff at the New Amber are absolutely fine.
Excuse me, I can't talk to you now, Olive.
Well, not having time for Olive may have
every time they make fun of this mess.
As we exited the theater, the lights went crazy.
Look at that! Wow.
This is not
because he
normal.
made fun.
I'm doing a story about spirits, and this is the first time. Yeah. Hey, I'm not nervous. Everything is just fine.
You gotta take it serious now.
What will settle this situation?
Good night, Olive. Wherever you are.
That's better. It's great. Isn't she sweet?
Wow. So
it's great.
Tracy looks at me. I hear the guy on the phone.
Right?
My producer, I'm sorry, thank you. And the guy says, engineering, won't you set the light straight? The guy said, I didn't touch it. And
I believe that. I believe that.
And I asked Tracy today again what happened here, and she's not sure.
Oh, there you go. Well, how about that, guys?
Great show. Thanks, everybody.
I think we touched through it. I think we touched through it all. Don't be like Jim. All right? Don't be low energy. Get out there and
raise your vibration.
Raise your vibration. Do those little things that are going to make you feel good, that recharge that light. Okay? And we'll keep the lights on here for you guys. Listen, guys, this has been awesome. Steve, again, drop his link tree and get his books. You got that eBay channel. Now, what is it called? Can they find that? Is there a link for that? Because
which channel?
Get some of these books. Your eBay.
It's not an eBay. It's a Etsy.
Oh, it's an Etsy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm never going to get it right.
I have a lot of
I'm
used and vintage paranormal and occult books.
Susan!
I'm liquidating some of my collection.
Hi, Pumpkin.
But I don't have much over there. Hey there.
Oh, God bless you. Oh, healing energy.
Better. I got your message today. I shared it with Nicole. I just haven't had time to write you back yet, but thank you for your well wishes, Susan.
Absolutely. And to you, we're going to send you some nice healing energy. Everybody, right now, just send straight to Susan.
Put it on her.
Just put it on her.
There we go. Susan Wood Carver.
That's for you, baby.
Just for your healing right here.
Right through the palms of your hands, right straight to that beautiful heart of yours, and just heal it, and laughter and smile, not too much, little at a time. And we love you so much. And I hope you get better very, very soon. I wish you had told us. I know why you probably didn't, but we know now.
She's
so
got some
send
good
love and light.
Susan, when you feel like it, I'll help you finish that book.
Love and light to you,
There's
baby.
a couple of those
That's
I
right.
need to comment on.
Yep.
That story you told me where you couldn't figure it out, and I knew what it was.
Yep. And that's what we're here for.
Did that with Cisco too.
Every single one of us. Yep. And we've been doing it back and forth, and all through just everything. So I'm gonna find something nice here to play out. And
Susan Wood Carver, Nicola's Midnight Society in the chat there, just to see. No, I don't know if you know that or not, but I shared that message with you today. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
This is very apropos for somebody who put a lot of their life into the theater, movies, and on stage. Mr. Lon Chaney Sr. Good night, everybody. We love you. And go to the theater.
Namaste.
Watch a movie. We love you. Good night, sweetheart.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for letting me be a part of it, Cisco.
Love you, baby.
Professor Echo, God's gifted genius, the greatest ventriloquist of the age, the man of 100 golden voices, Professor Echo.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine. That's fine, folks. Now, then, if you'll be real quiet, I'll see if I can get the little boy to say something. Well, how are you today, Tommy? Oh, I'm feeling fine, thank you. Well, that's fine. Now, what are you going to sing for the folks today? She was a butterfly's daughter. Oh, he's going to sing She Was a Butterfly's Daughter. She was a butterfly's daughter, but he was a son of a bee. Well, how'd you like to hear Sweet Rosie O'Grady? Oh, Sweet Rosie O'Grady. One of the good old-fashioned songs, huh? Well, that's fine. I'm sure the folks would like to hear that. So, all right, let her go, Tommy. Sweet Rosie O'Grady, nice little love. She nice pretty lady, no silly or no. Swim will be married, so will be really. Why, Rosie O'Grady, and Rosie O'Grady loves me. You know the old gag. That's all there is to life. Just a little laugh, a little tear. Oh, goodbye, Rosie. I'll be seeing you. Come on. Hey, you! You better come over and take care of this galley, all right? I'll send you a postal card.